Hello. Hello, Trial. Hello, Soldier. Hope everyone's doing well. It is time to commence once again into the craziness. I figured out something that may or may not have been thanks to my friend Infinity. I didn't get spoiled. Don't worry. All he said was, this is in an alternate timeline. Chapter 2 is. Which should have been very, very, obvious, to be honest. Because Keiichi died in the last chapter, but I do know that this is an alternate timeline. That's all I know. That's the only thing I know. So, now I'm less confused. Oh, goodness. Okay. Let's get started. Last time we met Shion, Mion's sister. Ooh, hey, Chief.
いいですか、皆さん。
Alright, I'm listening.
お料理は真剣にやらないと思わぬ怪我をします。
You're not wrong.
これも授業ですから、ふざけないでしっかりやってくださいね。
A lazy, yeah, wafted through the class in response. Half of the school day today was going to be home economics class. The plan was for everybody to make curry rice and give it to the forest rangers who left this building be rented out as a school. If everybody were making curry in the same pot, it would have been more of a party-like atmosphere. But this was school after all. Excluding the youngest students, each one of us would be making our own curry with the results being judged.
いいですか？今でこそカレーライスは手軽で簡単で誰にでも作れるメニューということになっていますが、カレーは本来インドを発祥とする古式ゆかしいちゃんとしたお料理です。
Alright.
日本式にアレンジされたとはいえ、そこには古代インドの英知と文化が込められています。
You know, I was gonna say, they talk about curry a lot in anime, but I'm like, that was like originally like an Indian thing, wasn't it? But there you go.
夢、そのことをおろそかにしないように。真剣にやらない人は先生が本気で怒りますから、そのつもりで。
It seemed like a needlessly passionate sermon on curry. Well, whatever.
知恵先生はカレーに命かけてるって噂でしたよ。
Devoted her life to... Then why is she a teacher?
採点はきっと厳しいですわよ。
家庭科の点数なんか赤点でさえなければ適当でいいんだよ、適当で。
適当なんて言わない方がいいよ。先生、カレーに関しては鬼だから。
Tyrant. I can see that. I can see that much.
なんだよ、そのカレーの鬼って。
Well, it means a tyrant in terms of curry.
初耳だぞ。
By the way, are you still going with Mion and Shion being different people? I mean, yeah. I feel like that's pretty obvious. Are they not? Well, don't tell me if they are or not. But like, I feel like it's pretty obvious if they are. I don't know. You have to keep in mind that this is a mystery game for. Oh, that's true. I don't know. Like they even sound different is the thing. That's all. So you can never underthink something. That's true. Like they even talk different. They have different mannerisms. I don't know.
普段は温厚ないい先生なんだけどね。どういうわけかカレーにだけはうるさいんだよ。
I think they sound the exact same. They do talk a bit different, I guess.
そりゃもう熱中的なくらいに。
うん。秘伝のカレーを研究するためにって言って、毎年インドに旅行に行ってるって言ってたもんね。 風の噂ですと、ご飯は3食カレーライスで、たまに他のものを食べるときでも必ずカレー味というこだわりぶりらしいですの。
That can't be well nutritional. Nutritional wise. That can't be good.
それ、変質的というより変態的だぞ。何か悪い宗教にでも入ってるんじゃないのか？だいたい、カレーなんて、ジャンクフードの筆頭じゃねえかよ。3食カレーなんて栄養的にも偏って。
Oh! Thunk, thunk, thunk! Embedded into the table right by my fingertips, a chef's knife, ladle, and spatula hummed gently as they still quivered. The teacher, while still mixing her own pot, was looking this way, smiling.
Shh!
Bro, she almost killed him over some damn curry, bro.
それ以上言ったら埋葬される。
Thinking even a little bit would make my situation a lot more dire.
へいへい。しっかり真面目にカレーを作ればいいわけだろ？
でも今日は、そう簡単にはいかないのです。みーちゃんが。
It's written all over our face. If the playing field is even and we're being judged, there's no way this won't turn into a competition.
わかってるね、みんな。料理勝負だ！
Alright. I knew it! There's no way Mion would leave such an enticing event alone.
勝敗はどうするでございますの？先生の採点で決めますの？
As if saying, but wait, there's more. God damn it. The teacher reappeared with the principal in tow.
今日は営林署の皆さんへの感謝のイベントですから、先生だけでなく、採点はみんなで行いますよ。
わしと先生と、それから営林署の方5人で採点する。
I like how the principal isn't important enough to get a sprite, but the teacher is. Rip principal.
各自健闘を祈るぞ。
Even the principal? Looking around, it seemed like the interest of everybody in the class had been piqued.
そういうわけ。のんびりしたカレーパーティーなんかには終わらせないよ。
カレーは得意だよ。今日は負けないよ。
Alright.
私の学年は班で作りますから、理科と一緒なのですわよ。
汚ねえ！リカちゃんは、確か、かなりの料理上手じゃ。
僕のカレーで美味しくって体がどうにかなっちゃうのです。
What about Mion? She doesn't seem like she's too good at cooking. Her type has always been bad at this kind of thing. I don't know. She did make that mochi though. Is that too soon? I don't know. But Mion continued to look unconcerned.
ケイちゃんが今思ってることを当ててあげるよ。ミオンはきっと料理が下手に違いない。でしょう。
I don't like the way she said that. It couldn't be. Mion couldn't possibly. At that moment, the teacher's whistle sounded.
では皆さん、いいですか？刃物には十分に気をつけてくださいね。はじめ！
The call to arms had sounded. We had to use an outdoor kit to cook the rice, but it wasn't that difficult for a camping veteran like me. Put the rice into the canister, push your palm to the bottom, and fill with water just above the wrist.
本当にそんな水加減でいいんですの？もっと入れないといけないそうですのよ。
You filthy liar! If I put in any more, I'll be left with some half-cooked porridge.
さとこ、それが罠のつもりなら残念だったな。俺は慣れてるぞ、飯盒炊飯は。はじめちょろちょろ中パッパ。赤子泣いても蓋取るな。
へえ、ケイチくんすごいね。ちょっと意外。サマーキャンプで習ったのかな？
親父がデイキャンプが好きでさ。夏場なんかにはよく家族で出かけるんだよ。
ってことは全員ご飯の炊き方は問題なし。つまり勝負の分かれ目はカレーの方ってことになるね。
カレーこそ理科の独壇場ですのよ。皆さんなんかコテンパンですわ。
I don't like the phrasing of that.
理科のってとこが泣けるぞ。
Dude.
お前も何か料理を手伝えよ。
ひょっとするとさとこちゃんは何もお手伝いをしないのが一番のお手伝いなのかもね。
Damn. That's just mean.
勝負は勝てば官軍でございますわよ。
That was a pretty malicious comment for Reina. And Satoko took it hook, line, and sinker. Reina could only apologize between fits of laughter while Satoko chased her around.
じゃあ早速カレーの方に行こうかね。ここからが勝負どころだよ。
After rinsing off the carrots, potatoes, and other standard vegetables, I grasped the knife.
今日のカレーはどんな味？
As Reina hummed along, her very well-practiced hands wielded her knife. The rhythmical sound of the knife hitting the cutting board hardened to kind images of days long past. Simply put, it was perfect. It was so calm and practiced, I seriously don't stand a chance. I looked over at Satoko and Rika-chan. Satoko was in charge of washing the vegetables, while Rika-chan was in charge of peeling them. That's what I heard being discussed, but Rika-chan's knife skills are something else as well. She was happily rotating the potato and peeling it quite quickly. On top of that, the peels spanned the entire potato. What was that called again? Katsuramuki? I've heard that peeling a vegetable in one loop around like that is a highly regarded technique. She pickled up the peel from the sink and carved a pair of eyes into it with a knife.
ヘビさんなのですよ。ガオー。
Saying that, she placed the longly peeled potato skin on top of the head of a boy from her group. Wasn't even breaking a sweat. When it comes to Rika-chan and cooking, I couldn't even hold a candle to her. But, roar? Do snakes make that sound? Alright then, how's Mion doing? She's definitely just fumbling along. There's no way she could peel a potato so effortlessly like that. Absolutely no way.
そんなわけあるか！絶対嘘だ！トリックだ！ SFX だ！
She's using special effects, IRL.
ワイヤーとか使ってるに違いない！
ほれ、ビローン。
As if she had already won, Mion proudly showed me the elongated potato skin.
ケイチは知らないですか？ミーはおばあちゃんにお料理とかも教えてもらってるですよ。
Oof!
料 理だけじゃないよ。裁縫からお花におこと、重機から無線機、ヘリの操縦まで何でもできるんだからね。
That is a lot. Strangely enough, the latter items were more realistic. Because the first few items on that list, that seemed like a lie.
本当はすっごくお料理上手なんだよ。面倒くさがって全然作らないけどね。
Damn it! I'm also really good at cooking. Especially Chinese food.
ケイチ、お湯を沸かして注ぐのは料理に入りませんです。
Shot down before I could even say it.
ざまあないですわね。
Don't know what you talk about, Satoko. You are literally hanging on to Rika like she is a damn cliffhanger. You can't even cook, bro.
今日はケイチさんの一人負け確定ですわよ。
Clank!
てめえだって料理できないだろが
リカかわいそかわいそです。僕がケイチをコテンパンにしてあげますです。
Gah! This does not look good. Everybody is smirking at me. Don't raise the white flag yet, Keiichi Maibara! Don't throw away this match! Calm down and think. Not about how to peel these potatoes well, but about how to win this challenge.
ここはギャラリーが多い。俺、他の流しで仕事するから。
Saying only that, I gathered up all the vegetables and left that spot behind.
ケイチくん大丈夫かな？包丁で指とか切らないか心配。
さーて、ケイちゃんのお手並み拝見だね。
No matter how hard I try peeling these, if I slip up at this speed, I'll loop my fingers right off. And there's only one thing left to do.
富田君、岡村
Oh
君。
my god. Oh my god.
お、君たちは4人でグループか。
It was the two underclassmen that had become my sworn brothers ever since the event at that toy store last Sunday. They had been paired with two girls for their group.
お、はい。女子2人が料理とか得意なんで。俺らは遊んでるだけで OK です。
Both of them pointed at the girls. They're not as good as Reina, but they're both good at handling a knife.
単刀直入に言おう。このままでは部活に負ける。君たちの班が剥いた野菜をくれ。
前原さん、それ、ほとんど恐喝です。でも、まあ、話によっては。
Not again.
交渉次第なら OK ってことですよ。
たくましい奴らだな。まあ当然だ。ではこうしよう。俺が勝てたら、サトコ&リカちゃんグループのカレーを食わせてやる。これならどうだ？
え？どうしようかな。
What? Both of them were hesitant after such a weighty proposal. Just one more little push seems in order. Very well then, let's make them an offer they can't refuse. I pulled both of them close by the shoulders and made my offer in a hushed tone.
もちろん、サトコとリカちゃんの食べかけをだ。
Oh my god.
スプーンもつける。
That is so weird. Splooge. A red mist spouted vigorously from the noses of the two underclassmen.
ケイチさ も結構やりますのね。綺麗なじゃがいもですこと。
Having brilliantly cleared the vegetable peeling challenge, I returned to my comrades in triumph.
へえ、すごいねすごいね。ケイチくんの皮むき上手だよ。
Yeah, something like that.
違うね。ケイちゃんが剥いたのはじゃがいもじゃなく牙でしょ。
His fangs of bribery and theft.
ああ。俺はとっくに本気だぞ。てめえらまとめてぶっ潰してやるぜ。
Having finished with preparing the vegetables, next is to boil a pot of water. Then add the vegetables in order of which it takes longest to cook. I learned this part from my mother when we went camping. But just cooking in order, it probably won't garner a lot of points. Look over at Reina. She had a variety of vegetables cooking together in a delicate balance. She wasn't being ambitious or calculating a way to win the game. She was making delicious food with a mother's touch. I have a feeling that I could somehow compete with Mion in terms of technique, but I would be no match for Reina. She is way out of my league.
うちのお母さんのカレーはね、いっつも具だくさんだったんだよ。だからレナのカレーも具だくさんなの。本当は一晩かけてじっくり煮たいんだけどね。
頼む。俺のカレーにも少しお力を貸してくれないか。
ダメだよ。
No.
これ部活だもの。レナは負けないよ。
When she enters club mode, even the normally kind Reina becomes an enemy. Looks like Rika-chan is cooking apples as well. She's like a pro at this. How about Mion?
ミヨンてめえ。そりゃなんだよ。ハンバーグなんてどこから。
Where'd you get meat from?
行事予定表で今日のことをあらかじめ知ってたからね。
I predicted what we'd be doing by looking at the schedule. That's not called predicting. That's just called looking at the fucking schedule.
下ごしらえはバッチリってわけよ。私のカレーはゴージャスに行くよ。
Upon closer inspection, it looks like Mion brought her own vegetables and spices and other ingredients. They were spread all over the place. Mion, just for today, you brought all this stuff from your house.
異議あり。先生、こんなのありですか？
異議を却下します。美味しいカレーができれば先生は何でも OK です。
For that normally serious teacher to go so far as to append a star to the end of her sentence. The fourth wall break. Just as the rumors said, she's a through and through curry freak.
レナとリカちゃんは天性の料理上手。私は入念な事前準備。で、ケイちゃんは
It's hopeless. In the grand scheme of cooking, peeling the vegetables is only a small part of it. The hurdles I must overcome are just too numerous and too high.
前原さん、こっち、こ
Oh
っ
my,
ち。
oh my god. Turning around, I saw the voices calling me belonged to the two underclassmen from earlier, Tomita-kun and Okumura-kun.
なんだよお前ら。その鍋はなんだよ。お前らの班のか？
これ気づかれないうちに前原さんの鍋とすり替えてください。
This is just cheating.
うちの女子のカレーなら前原さんが作るよりは出来はいいと思います。
You guys, for me?
勘違いしないでくださいよ。僕たち、前原さんに勝ってもらわないと。
Guys, are we gonna have to make a Higurashi tier list? These two kids are going in Chad tier. I think we might have to make a Higurashi tier list. What do we think? Oh, that's right. If I don't win, then the talk of eating Satoko and Rika-chan's curry goes right out the window. It seems like you guys are getting riled up about this too.
すまん世話になるだが、お前らのグループの女子がよく許したな。
Oh, they didn't.
前原さん。俺たちも本気ってことです。
Yeah. Filling in on our day duty 3 times. These guys, to assure me victory, have paid the price. That gaze filled with burning conviction from my underclassmen. Yeah, I'm not fighting this alone. I'm fighting this with everyone!
任せておけ
Yeah!
腹は空かせておけよ。絶対に食わせてやるからな。
お待ち申し上げております。
It's a gas stove, so controlling the heat is easy. All that's left is to let it stew a bit. Where's the mochi redeem? Oh shit, I forgot. Hey sugar! I forgot, I'm stupid. That's good enough. You can just do the bear comfort. I'll put it in next time. Hey sugar, how you doing? I sound like an old lady. Hey sugar! How's it going? By the way, I'm in ads right now. Oof! Whoa. The delicious smell of my curry began wafting upwards. The pot gifted me by my 2 underclassmen certainly drew some double takes. Reina even looked surprised when she came to take a look, so it must be pretty good.
ケイちゃんやるじゃない。
yeah, something like that.
これは最後までわからない勝負になったね。
ケイチくんのカレー、レナも食べてみたくなっちゃうな。
レナのカレーもミオンのカレーもみんな強敵だよ。俺の最善は尽くしたが、結果はどうか。
Shut up, Keiichi.
ケイチさん、リカが呼んでますわよ。言ってあげてでございますわ。
What? Rika-chan's calling me? What could it be? Don't leave your curry, bro! Well, whatever. While I'm at it, I can gather some intelligence on the enemy. Well, he's fucked. Rika-chan was doodling on the ground in front of the pot. Because all that's left is to let it stew. Even then, it's good to know that she doesn't leave the stove unattended. Like you!
よ、リカちゃんの方はどんな具合だい？
カレーさんなのです。
Huh? Rika-chan was doodling something strange and introduced it as Mr. Curry.
カレーさんはすごいのです。目からビームも出ます。
What? What does that even mean, Rika?
ピー。
Apparently, Mr. Curry shoots beams from his eyes. Who knew? Drawing a beam with the stick, she etched a line towards my feet. Does this mean I've been shot with a laser?
バリアー！ビーム反射！
I took another stick in my hand and reflected the beam, striking Mr. Curry.
カレーさんのお腹からはミサイルも撃てるのです。
What are you doing, Keiichi? I don't know if you're back from ads yet, but hey, sugar.
ビシュー。
おりゃー前原超電磁バリアー
I'm free from ads. Hi, hi, hey, how you doing? Hope everything's well. How'd your stream go earlier?
そして反撃のビーム
カレーさんはビームエネルギーを吸収して波動砲を撃てるのです。
I was promised mochi. Listen, I forgot. I'm doing well, sorta tired. I'll make sure to, because that plus yesterday, I don't have the stamina. Oof, I'm sorry. I'll make sure to remember next time to add the mochi team. It left my head. Rika-chan and I scratched at the ground, thoroughly engrossed in our doodle war. Wait a moment.
なあリカちゃん、俺に何か用があって呼んだんじゃないのか？
はい、呼びましたですよ。でももうご用は終わっているのです。
Yep, and now your curry's fucked, buddy. At that moment, a chill ran up my spine. Already fulfilled her purpose?
やられた
Headed back to my pod, standing there just as I feared was Satoko. With no questions asked, I drop-kicked the back of her head. Bro, you can't do that to a child. You can't just drop-kick a child.
レディの頭を何だとお思いですの。
I like how she's just fine.
なことはどうでもいい。まさかサトコ、俺のカレーに何か混ぜたんじゃ。
失礼な。そこまで落ちぶれてはおりませんわ。こう見えても私、フェアですのよ。
じゃあ、この、よくわからない並べ方をしてあるしゃもじとかお皿とかはなんだ？こんな不安定な置き方をして、倒れたらどうすんだよ。
At that moment, a gentle breeze blew by, knocking over a ladle that was stood up on its end. The ladle, like a domino, fell over and knocked over the next cooking utensil in a row. Whap, 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 whap. Clank, clank.
これは芸術だな。そういえば昔、テレビでドミノ倒し世界記録に挑戦なんてのが流行ったよな。
Oh my god.
ケイちゃん、フライパン。
I didn't even have the time to react. The chain reaction knocked over a cutting board, then a frying pan. The next after that was my pot. Twats! The fry pan stuck my pot full force, tipping it over. The contents cruelly spilled out, and now my masterpiece was being sampled by the schoolyard. I stared, dumbfounded. It was such a beautiful and elaborate mousetrap that for a moment I lost touch with reality.
あらあら、大惨事ですわね。
Alright, now you have free permission to choke her out, child or not.
私は何もしてませんのよ。
At the very last moment, I had let my guard down. I ignored the culinary incompetent Satoko for far too long. Even if she couldn't cook, Satoko still had this method of fighting back. Just then, Reina, who had been sampling her own plot, let out a scream. Oh my god, wait, what? Was Reina also sabotaged? Then what about Mion?
私のはご飯がしょっぱい。
It's the boys, isn't it?
やられたこれで邪魔者は戦う前に全て一掃でございますのよ。
Or wait, did Satoko do it?
せっかくの力作が台無しなのです。かわいそなのです。かわいそですわよ。
Rika-chan and Satoko rubbed my dumbfounded head to their heart's content. move. Pushing the desk together, it was about time for the meals to be judged. The delicious odor of curry spread through the courtyard. The members of the forestry service, to whom we owed gratitude for their daily work, were guided to their seats. The principal gave a bit of a ceremonial introduction. Next, the teacher expressed her desire for them to judge the curry contest. The men from the forestry service seemed to like that kind of thing and gave their enthusiastic approval.
さて、皆さんできましたね。ではこれから審査員の皆さんと校長先生と私で試食をしますからね。
Everybody in the class brought up their painstakingly made curry and arranged them on the desk. The only club members who managed a decent result were Rika-chan's group. Knowing full well it was a failure, Reina plated our curry for the judges. She already knew she was going to get a low score. But at least she was still able to serve hers. Both Mion's and my curry were completely obliterated, so we couldn't even line them up on the table. The judges started from the curry made by the lower grades. They had a lively discussion praising the food. Finally, it was our curry's turn.
次は竜宮くんのカレーであるな。実にうまそうである。
Oh no. The principal cheerfully shoveled a spoonful of Reina's salty curry into his mouth. Of course, his expression immediately changed.
あらあらあら、竜宮さんどうしちゃったんですか？途中まではあんなに美味しそうだったのに。
Cheese-sensei must have had some expectations judging from her disappointment.
すみません。間違えてお塩を一袋入れちゃって。
The rest of the judges grimaced after they each had a bite. I feel sorry for them.
失敗こそ成功の調味料である。次回に期待するぞ。頑張りたまえ。
Saying that, the principal devoured the rest of the oversalted curry in one go. Truly a man amongst men. Reina was down and out. Her offensive capabilities were something else, but she was defeated due to her weak defense.
では、次は僕たちのご賞味いただくのですよ。
フルデさんの班のカレーもとっても頑張っていますね。どれどれ？素朴だけど、これはとても美味しくできてます。
There was also the incident with Reina's salted curry right before this, so the judge's assessment was extraordinarily high. Maybe not just extraordinary, but perhaps today's forerunner? The judges began a heated debate. One of the judges let out a sigh as he removed a chunk of carrot with a spoon.
この子のカレーも結構悪くないけどな。俺、人参嫌いなんだよね。
That shouldn't... Okay? That seems like a you problem. You can't just be like, nah, I don't fuck with no carrots. That's an immediate 5 out of 10. Fucking way. That's like if they put me as a judge and they were like serving hamburgers, right? And somebody put tomatoes on there. I'm like, nah, your boy don't fuck with no tomatoes. That's immediate 2 out of 10. You're out. Personally, I think that carrots are a staple of curry. But I guess to each their own. However, seeing that Rika-chan read the nameplate on the chest of his coveralls and began to speak...
ダメですよ、教授。人参を残してはいけません。
You have to eat your carrots. What is she saying all of a sudden? Everybody turned to Rika-chan with a stunned look. But what Rika-chan just did was super effective. The carrot-hating judge began stuffing his face with curry while tears streamed down his face.
教師。おかわりありますですよ。
Sub Bobby! While crying like that, he continued to shovel curry into his mouth. That's right. Rika-chan's curry was by no means simple. No, that curry had been the taste of mother's cooking. With the carrot-hating judge out of the picture, Rika-chan's assessment was unanimous.
リカのカレーには誰もかないませんのよ。
Satoko let off a shrill laugh as she declared victory, but at that moment...
騙されてはなりません。審査員の皆々様方。貧乏臭さを
Oh my god!
と錯覚させるなど、まやかしもいいとこ。
Oh, this woman, thank you so much for the read. Or whoa, we'll go with whoa. Thank you. Came here to say hi. Hope Higurashi was fine. We're still in the middle of chapter 2, but we're enjoying it so far. We come from art. Hello. Hello, Sweetan. Hey, Golden. Hello, whoa. Oh, boy. Hope y'all are doing okay today. What?
皆様方が本当に食べたかったのはこういうカレーじゃない？
Oh! All of a sudden, in all of its perfect glory, Mion's curry. Not only the judges, but the teacher, the underclassmen, and of course myself could only gasp in admiration. Hamburg steak with a demi-glace sauce and a fresh salad. It's a set! I love the One Piece little thing I just saw. Yes, my favorite character from anything is Kata Curry. He was the mascot of my channel. I'm still gonna have him be like my alerts just because, I don't know, I still want to have Kata Curry in like my my stuff. But yeah, Mochi God, yeah. So originally my name used to be Dat Mochi Boy, and that was inspired entirely from Kata Curry. But I wanted to be a bear VTuber or PNG tuber, so I shifted to that, but I still wanted to keep Mochi as part of my name and brand. So I just put Mochi Kuma. Ivory Ice, I think y'all know Ivory Ice, actually came up with the name for me, so if y'all want somebody to thank for the brand name, thank her. It wouldn't be stretching to say this was a full-course meal. It's perfect. Perfectly made. A connoisseur of anime, it seems. Oh, yeah! Yes, I love me some One Piece.
すごいすごい。みーちゃんすごい。みーちゃんすごい。
Satoko was also shocked. Even Rika-chan couldn't hide her surprise. It seems the victor was decided without even needing a taste. Of course, the hamburger was hand-kneaded. The salad also had a home-style dressing, but of professional quality. Oh! Zuitan, thank you so much for the follow. I really hope I'm saying that right. Hope you enjoy your stay. And the curry, not even a micron of grit.
とっても美味しい。実に豊かな味わいですよ、園崎さん。このカレーこそインド6000年の英知と日本人の食文化の美しい融和の生きた証。
Anyway, I gotta go to sleep. Have fun with Higurashi. Alright, I will. Thank you so much, Wo. I hope you get some rest from your stream today. You streamed for quite a bit. So get you some rest. Have a good day, and thank you for coming by, and thank you for the raid. Oh, thank you.
先生、感激です。これは満点の仕上がりですね。100点をあげちゃいます。
What?
いえいえ、どういたしまして。クラス委員長として 模範を示したまでです。
Mion bowed politely, and then winked at us with a smirk on her face.
僕の負けなのです。
Oof!
そんなはずありませんわ。確かに半合に再興しましたのに。
Oh, it was Satoko then. That's right. Satoko had dumped salt into Mion's rice cooker, which should have ruined it. At that moment, it hit me. I spun back towards my own canister. That's why! At some point, my cooking canister had been opened, its contents completely emptied.
ミオンめ俺のご飯を使いやがったな
Everyone's just dunking on Keiichi.
ずるいぞお前のカレーも半分よこせ
Mion clucked her tongue and waved her finger at me as a smirk washed over her face.
おっとケイちゃん、それは甘えてるよ。この最後の土壇場をケイちゃんは諦めた。私は諦めなかった。そういう差でしょ。勝負は捨てたらおしまいってこと。
I couldn't even properly voice my shame.
みーちゃん、ケイチくんかわいそうだよ。ちょっとくらいなら分けてあげても。
いいのいいの。これは授業料だよ。
This is a lesson.
ケイちゃんは今、勝負を最後まで捨ててはいけないことを学んだの。ね。
He should have went and bribed someone else. Went and bribed the teacher. It loathes me to say it, but Mion is right. To give up so quickly on the match was my own folly. For Mion to have brought that to my attention, I should actually be thankful to her. Well then, did that mean even in this situation I shouldn't give up?
カレーは鍋ごとひっくり返し、ご飯すらも残ってない。この状況で、どう勝負を諦めるなんて言うんだよ
前原さん。
Tomita-kun and Okamura-kun suddenly appeared. Damn it! Even though my proteges had tried so hard, I wasn't able to meet their expectations.
事故ですよ。仕方ないです。
Both of them were dejected. Gah, I couldn't accept defeat so easily. I was their senior. What would I be if I didn't pick up the broken pieces of the dream I had shown them? I just learned it from Mion just now, didn't I? Don't throw away the contest. Not until the last moment.
考えろ、前原圭一。考えるんだ、前原圭一。カレーを作る方法じゃない。勝負に勝つ方法だ。
Ugh. I had an idea. I didn't think it could turn the tables, but it was better than nothing.
富田君、手を洗ってこい。手伝ってくれ。岡村君には探してきてほしいものがあるんだ。
Yeah! The boys! Both of them had dispersed after receiving these instructions.
ほう。最後にケイちゃんがどうあがくか。見せてもらおうじゃない。
王将際の悪い男は嫌われますのよ。
うるせえ！俺の最後の勝負を黙って見てろ！
You know, Golden, I didn't say it in Woe's stream, but I don't know. You're getting kinda cocky, so I'm gonna say it. Are you really in a position to be calling anyone a nerd? Just think about that for a second.
まずミオン、お前の飯盒をもらうぞ。嫌とは言わせん。
別にいいけど、しょっぱいよ。
レナも手伝っていいよね。
As a nerd, I am an expert and therefore can call someone a nerd. Okay.
ケイチくん、非常事態だし。
Isn't that just like picking on the weak? Because you are weak in a sense, though? That's kind of like messed up, isn't it?
そう言ってもらえるなら心強い。じゃあレナ、お茶を入れてくれ。
え
はあ、信頼されてない。
それからサドゴ、そしてリカちゃん、一騎打ちを申し入れる。
なんですってお話を伺いますですよ。
This is my duty to my two proteges who shed blood, sweat, and tears for my sake.
俺が100点をもらえたら、サドゴ、リカちゃん、お前らのカレーをいただく。飯抜きだー。
冗
談もほどほどでございますのよ。そんなのあかんぺーでございますわよ。
いや、いいでしょ、さとこ。受けなよ。
Firmly patting the top of Sotoko's head, Mion said those words with all the gravitas of a club president.
これだけの致命傷を与えたんでしょ。再起なんかあるわけがない。だからさとこも堂々としてなよ。どうあがこうと逆転などあるわけがない。そうでしょ。
そうでございますけど。僕はいいですよ。ケイチ、ファイト、おーです。
The judges, seemingly growing tired of sampling the various curries, were debating each entry. From what little I overheard, it seemed that Mion's impending victory was not in question.
そういえば、前原くんのカレーはどうなりましたか？先生、まだ食べてませんよ。
はい。俺のカレーは、鍋がひっくり返ってしまい。
ん？そうであるか。それは実に残念である。
カレーは失いましたが、勝負を失ったわけじゃありません。皆さんをうまいと言わせてみせます。
My combative posturing had drawn the attention of all the judges.
まずは黙って食ってください。文句はそれから伺います。これが俺の料理だ
ー。前原くん、それは。
ん？おにぎりであるか。
The judges smiled wryly at the simple fare that was quite in contrast to the preceding bravado. Reina poured tea into the cup she had brought over from the break room.
バカにしてますわ。それに、ほら。中身も何にもない、ただの塩握りではありませんの。こんなの勝負にもなりませんわ。確かに塩加減は悪くないかもしれないけど。
Reina's expression told me that she thought this was a great idea, but it might still not be enough to win the match.
前原さん、本当にこんなので逆転できるんですか？
後輩諸君、よく尽くしてくれた。大丈夫。 黙って見てるんだ。
The judges were chewing with their mouths full and sipping at the tea. Nobody was singing praises or awestruck. They were just quietly chowing down.
ケイちゃんも卑怯な手を使うようになったね。
Huh?
こりゃ辛いな。
あ、そうか。レナにもわかったよ。
I don't get it.
どういうことですの？なんでみんな黙ってあんなにも食べてますの？それはね、さとこちゃん。審査員さんたちね、実は。
Tired of eating curry? You've gotta be kidding me. That can't count, dude. That's not... Come on, man. Because they were judges, they had to sample each and every offering. And because they were from small children, because they were made to show their appreciation, they couldn't eat just a little bit of each.
男はな、時には味よりも、量を尊ぶこともあるんだよ。その時味は、心震わせるものよりも、素朴であることが望ましい。
You've gotta be kidding me. They couldn't say it out loud, but this was the tastiest thing they've had today. Confirmed that by looking at their eyes, the judges smiled wryly.
健闘は称えるが、今日はカレー勝負。これに点数を与えて良いものなのか。
Yeah, dude, you can't just... The teacher and the principal had folded their arms while they pondered the situation. My underlings, seeing that, saw the small glimmer of hope fade away and grew dejected. Ah, was this little surprise just not enough?
諦めるな、ケイちゃん。
Mion whispered quietly. That's right. If I didn't push here...
いえ、先生。採点はしていただきます。カレーとおにぎりを異なって評価することに、そもそも致命的な間違いがあります。
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
前原くん、何を言ってるんですか？カレーとおにぎりが、なぜ？
The principal stopped the teacher. It looked like he was giving me one final chance. The judges, having eaten their fill, quietly waited for my statement.
本場インドのカレーは、何というパンで食べるそうですね。
Oh, thank you for the hydrate, sugar. I almost said golden.
ですから、このカレーライスという料理は、それを取り入れ、アレンジした日本の食文化の一つと言えるでしょう。
The best girl is Miss Heed from Villainous. Yes. And also Sachi. They're both best girl.
冒頭に先生がおっしゃられた通り、インドと日本の文化の融合の結晶なのです。
前原くんの言うことはわかります。でも、それとおにぎりにどんな関係が？
とても簡単なことなんですよ。カレーもおにぎりも、お米を美味しく食べるための知恵なんです。
Bruh. Rice was introduced to Japan from ancient China. Our agricultural forebears watered the fields, fighting the elements, disease, and pests to grow and raise our rice-centric culture. Yes, the Japanese people formulated a plethora of dishes, but those were nothing more than attempts to find ways to enjoy eating rice. In other words,
カレーもおにぎりも同じ米食部結晶なのです。
rice culture. It was scattered at first, but slowly grew into a steady roar. It was a thunderous applause that praised me.
よまいごともほどほどになさいませ。認めませんわよ。先生はカレーの出来を採点してますのよ。こんなのは採点外。 点がふさわしいに決まってるでございますわ。先生、圭一くんは頑張ったんです。認めてあげてください。
カレーの授業のはずだったのに。どうしましょう。
Mion, stifling her laughter, stepped forward.
かつてフランスからある高名なシェフが来日した時、ホテルの人たちがさまざまな材料をフランスから空輸したんだそうです。でもそのシェフはそれらに見向きもしませんでした。
どうしてなのですか？本場の材料さんなのですよ。
シェフは地元の漁港へ行き、日本で採れた新鮮な幸を使って料理を作ったそうです。食文化は決められたルールに縛られるものじゃない。文化なんです。日本に来れば日本の文化と溶け合って、また新しいものを形作る。
Bro, you can say that it's about goddamn culture all you want, bro. He made freaking onigiri, not curry.
だからカレーもおにぎりも同じ日本の文化なんです。
Mion. She was providing fire support. I had to be grateful. The judges were somehow moved by this complicated yet baseless trivia. A stern look washed over the teacher's face as she refolded her arms.
前原くんはカレーのお鍋をひっくり返してしまったそうですね。危ないから気をつけなさいと初めにあれだけ言ったのに。
Oof!
すみません。
ですが、前原くんや園崎さんが言うように、食文化には垣根はありません。人を心底感嘆させるものなら、その形式は何ら差別されるものではない。
じゃあ。
We'll cut it even. We'll give you a 50.
お鍋をひっくり返したので、減点20。
Got him.
でも、今日だけですよ。くじけないで頑張ったので、特別に20点プラス。100点をあげておきましょう。
What a... Wait, then what was the point of the minus 20? What... Yeah! My underclassmen leapt at me. A perfect score! We did it! We did it! Yeah! Pog! The curry was split and our rice was taken. But we made a comeback. In the end, Rika-chan's curry also received full marks, so everybody but Reina had a perfect score. Oof! Since this contest was outside the scope of regular club activities, there wasn't any particular penalty game. Oh, okay. Reina breathed a sigh of relief.
さて、約束だぞ。さとこにリカちゃん。君たちのカレーは没収する。
それじゃ私たちのお昼がなくなっちゃいますわ。
Sutoko stomped angrily at the ground in frustration, but the price of defeat was absolute.
と言いたいところだが、情けだ。半分は食ってよし。
圭一、ありがとうなのです。
My two proteges peered over from me to the sidelines, tears of joy streaming from their faces. We exchanged glances that would only be understood amongst men. We did it! My Buddha-san! This is all thanks to you. We flashed each other a thumbs up.
さて、このカレーは後輩たちに渡してっと。俺も腹が減ったよな。自分のおにぎりでも食うか。で、あれ？
There was no traces of my onigiri. The ones I had set aside for myself included. As I peered around, searching for them, the principal clapped a hand on my shoulder.
さっきの前原君の話を聞いていたら、噛み締める米の味がひときわ美味での。
So I ate yours too.
ひょっとして、俺の分も食べちゃいました？
Yep. The principal simply laughed without answering. Seriously? My eyes half brimming with tears and my stomach rumbling, I was called over by the teacher.
前原くん、さっきは、ああいう場だったので、満点ということにしましたが、わかっていますね。
え？わかってって、何がっすか？
Oh no. Oh no. There was an odd glint in the teacher's eyes. If I had to describe it, it was curry-colored. Like a pot of stewing curry, her eyes whirled around in a spiral. A chill washed over me. The teacher clutched me by the shoulders and drew me in closer until our noses were almost touching.
カレーは、この世で一番尊くて神聖な素晴らしい料理です。それとおにぎりを同一扱いするなんて断固許せません。いいですか？カレーは四大河川文明に匹敵する第5の文明として古代インドに生まれ、アショカ王の時代にカピラ城で釈迦の生誕にバンコク食文化博覧会が絶賛して、ぐるぐるエッフェル塔すらもカレー漬けをぐつぐつ煮込んでターメリックを寝ても覚めてもカレーカレーカレーカレー。
Okay, alright, buddy, Jesus! We get it, you like curry.
何をフラフラしてますの？後片付けもお料理の一部ですのよ。ケイチくん、目がカレーだよ。どうしたのかな、この。
Curry, curry, curry.
あっちゃー、やられたか。大丈夫。一昼夜で元に戻るよ。
Will he though? you have to wonder about that.
多分。
Probably. It wasn't that long before hunger brought me back to my senses. That was a good scene. That was a good scene. I love that. Remember, chat, curry is not the same as onigiri. Just in case you were at all doubting that. In the end, all the onigiri was eaten by the principal, so I had to make do without lunch. Skipping lunch, I never knew the afternoon could be so long and painful. A feeling other than drowsiness made me space out.
大丈夫かな、ケイチくん。だからレナのカレー食べなよって言ったのに。
Oh my god. As if I could eat this curry with enough salt in it to make my blood pressure rise just by looking at it. Is what I said as I initially refused. I could only regret it. The hunger, the stomach ache, the wonderful, splendid super maid. And four others.
よくしのいだよ。あの絶対的な状況下から。
I think what you mean to say, Golden, is the lovable maid and her amusing companions, remember?
つくづくケイちゃんは追い詰められてからが強いね。
今はどんな褒め言葉もいらん。飯をくれ。
うちに帰れば何かあるんでしょ？
うちって お菓子とかの買い置きはないんだよ。カップ麺も、今は底をついてるし。
我慢して待ってれば、今日のお夕食はきっと美味しいよ。
I had absolutely no intention of laughing along.
じゃあ私はこの辺で。また今日もバイトでね。慣れない職種はしんどいよ。
Ah, that job at the Mort family restaurant, huh? That uniform was somewhat stimulating. How?
やっぱウェイトレスさんってハードワークなんだな。
みーちゃんってウェイトレスさんやってるの？本当にどこのお店かな？
違う。私は、そう、先日のおもちゃ屋さんの店番なの。
Is she actually Shion? Man, I thought she. Man, I give up. I don't know anymore.
ウェイトレスさんはシオンで、
Ah, my bad. I completely forgot that was how it ended up being.
ごめん。あまりにもよく似てるから間違えた。
ケイチくん、シオンって誰かな？
Reina asked the obvious question.
ミオンの双子の妹なんだよ。性格は違うけど、外見は瓜二つなんだ。
そうそう。外見は似てるけど中身は大違いなんだよ。私は優しくて思慮深いけど、シオンは冷めてておっかない性格なんだよね。
Huh?
多分生まれた時にミオンの女の子らしい部分は全部シオンに行っちゃったんだと思う。
Got him.
ミオンと違って実にはにかんだ笑顔の似合う可愛い女の子なんだ。
That.
じゃ
Reina interjected as her eyes darted back and forth from our exchange.
そうなの？レナ会ったことないの？みーちゃん、妹がいるなんて話してくれたことあったっけ？
Shion's existence was already being exposed as a cover-up. I couldn't help Mion out here. I could only have her end the charade.
うん。レナには紹介したことなかったかな。私の双子の妹でシオンって言うんだよ。
知らないよ。聞いてないよ。みーちゃん家に行っても会ったことないよ。
ほら、知ってるでしょ？バッチャと住んでるのは私だけだから。シオンは沖宮の実家に住んでるの。あんまり仲が良くないから、こっちには来ないんだけどね。
Reina's face indicated she wasn't sure if she was convinced. She was usually a bit of an airhead, but she was unusually sharp when it came to these kinds of things.
まあ、嘘じゃないんだ。信じてやってくれ。
As she said, "Yeah, I believe you," a smile suddenly blossomed on Reina's face.
レナもいつか会ってみたいな。
Well,
今度レナもお顔を見に行ってみるね。どこのお店で働いてるのかな？
she's getting more tangled in her little web. I could tell that Mion was getting increasingly frantic. I wanted to help her out, but it was hard for an outsider to butt in on family issues.
ごめん。バイトもう急がないと。じゃあね。レナにケイちゃん。また明日。
She really just said, well, I give up. Unilaterally ending the conversation, Mion headed home. No matter how you looked at it, she was running away. Well, just label this one as an emergency escape.
みーちゃんなんだか可愛かった。なんでかななんでかな。
Reina giggled in amusement. I wonder when dinner is. Would lying down be the best way to conserve energy? I sprawled in the entryway without even taking off my shoes. As I was losing the last vestiges of my consciousness, the doorbell rang. It seemed I had a guest.
はい、どうぞ。空いてますよ。
I directed my listless voice at the door.
どうもこんにちは。って、
Oh,
ケイちゃん、何やってんですか？
oh, maybe Shion is real. It seemed my guess was Mion, or rather, Shion. She seemed shocked when she saw me sprawled out in the entryway.
シオンか。また、どうして？
I thought that Shion's existence was an illusion that was limited to when Mion was at the restaurant. Shion over Mion. That's why I never even considered that Shion would appear here.
お姉に聞きましたよ。今日のお昼、部活で大変なことがあって、ご飯食べられなかったんですよね。
ああ、大変だったぞ。聡子に鍋を倒され、ご飯はお前に盗まれて。
だから私、シオン。
She grew red and began to mope. That's right, she's the younger twin right now.
すまんすまん。それでなんだよ。空腹の俺のために差し入れでも持ってきてくれたのか？
ありゃ、
Aww.
図星を疲れちゃってなんだかがっかりですけど、これ。
Aww. With a disappointed smile, Shion held out the small bento box she had hidden behind her back.
本当に差し入れなのかよ。サンキュー。
お姉が学校に持って行ったハンバーグの残りがあったんで、ちょっと持ってきました。お夕飯前だとは思いますけど、いかがかなって思いまして。迷惑でしたか？
迷惑なんてめっそうもない。すげえ嬉しいよ。本当に食っていいのか？
Sneaking a look inside the box to say that she just put some of the leftovers inside would have been a lie. There was an elegant meal stuffed inside.
本当にいいのか？これタバスコとかがいっぱい入ってるとか、そういう冗談じゃないのかよ。
もう、お姉じゃないんですから、私そんなことしませんよ。別に嫌なら無理しなくても、帰って自分で食べちゃいますから。
Saying that, she pouted cutely and made a motion as if to snatch the box back. There were some times that made me doubt that she was the same person as Mion, and this was undoubtedly one of those moments.
全然嫌じゃないです。感謝の心を忘れずに噛み締めたいと思います。
そんな、鼻水垂らされて感謝されるほどのことじゃ。
Shion, who had thought that I might not take the bento, looked down happily.
何もないけど上がってくか。お茶くらいなら出せるかも。
ごめんなさい。またの機会にします。
Bruh, she really hit us with the Itachi freaking forehead flick when he does the Sasuke. Maybe next time, bro. Come on now.
私、バイトに行く途中ですから。
Oh, that's right. She did say that before.
お弁当箱は適当に水洗いして、明日、お姉にでも返しといてくださいね。
当然だぜ。こんなうまそうなのを食わせてもらったら、それぐらい礼儀だろ
う。じゃあ私はこれで。あと最後に。
Shion grew red again as she looked down once more.
お姉がカレーの時、黙ってケイちゃんのご飯取っちゃいましたよね。悪ふざけが過ぎるとお姉、ついやりすぎちゃうんです。決して悪気があったわけじゃ。
おいおい。別に俺はあんなのなんとも思っちゃいないぜ。部活の上でのことは恨みっこなしだからな。毎回スリリングに楽しませてもらってるのをこっちが感謝したいぐらいだぜ。そう、ミオンに伝えてくれるか。
はい。それ、お姉きっと喜ぶと思います。ではこの辺で。
Shion smiled brightly. After bowing deeply, she left as she looked at her watch.
嬉しいけど、これ、本当に大丈夫なんだろうな。
I looked at the bento box that she left behind. A faint warmth spread through the palm of my hand. If it were Mion, I could see hot sauce, mustard, maybe even a needle being mixed inside. But I really don't think she would go so far as putting a needle in there. They know. They know. A needle? That's a bit extreme, yeah. Smirk. I opened the box once again and hesitantly tasted a bit. I took a bite. And another. It was no funny business. There was no danger at all, for it was delicious. That's right. That was Shion, not Mion, so there shouldn't have been anything to worry about. I rushed back to my room, eating as I gave my thanks. It was so delicious that my stomach could cry.
シオン、いや、ミオン。俺が空腹で死にそうって言ってたのを聞いて、大急ぎで持ってきてくれたのか。
It was delicious to the last bite. By the way, nothing strange had been mixed in. I was a bit embarrassed at myself for being so skeptical. It do be what it do be sometimes. Is that a chapter end? Was that a scene change? If that's a chapter end, I need to use the bathroom real quick. Hold on. Hey, just a second. just like that, your boy is back. Sorry. See this new tip. It was delicious.
おい
Casey's
ミオ
back.
これ
Back again. Mochi's back. Tell a friend.
何よケイちゃん。
Sachi's back. I tossed the bento box she'd given me yesterday at her face.
昨日差し入れてもらった弁当箱だよ。ごちそうさま。うまかったぜ。
あ、
Aww. Myeon's face quickly flushed bright red. Hey now, you were the one pretending to be Shion when you gave it to me. You're gonna give it away if you get all red like that when you're being Myeon. At this rate, she might trip and fall right into her own grave, so I decided to help her out.
あのな、俺、昨日腹を空かせてたらさ。
Shion is supposed to be the little sister, right? Why does she look older than Myeon? I don't know.
シオンがわざわざ家まで来て、弁当を差し入れてくれたんだよ。で、これはその弁当箱。ちゃんと洗ってあるからな。
そうなんだ。シオンは気が利くね。
That was so transparent. Was Myeon always this terrible at lying? Her expression was different than usual, but it looked strangely cute.
どうだった？
Oh.
ミオンに瓜二つなやつだと思うぞ。だって双子なんだろ。似てて当然だよ。
じゃなくて、
Myeon looked kind of bewildered, like she was waiting for a specific answer. When she said impression, maybe she didn't mean Shion, but the bento?
ああ、もちろん。うまかったぜ。
本当に？
Aww.
俺は食い物の感想には嘘はつかないぞ。俺がうまかったって言ったら、誰が食ったってうまい。
That it's objectively good.
万人におすすめできる評価だと思っていいぞ。シオンに、実に美味しかったって伝えておいてくれ。
シオンにね。伝えておくよ。きっと喜ぶと思うよ。
Aww. We're going along with Shion having given it to me, not Myeon, aren't we? Yet her laugh, it came from a deep down, it sounded really happy. I guess she really can laugh nicely enough that just looking at her makes me feel better too. A sarcastic remark made its way onto my tongue, but I swallowed it back. As Myeon went to put her bento box in her bag, she noticed a clattering noise.
ケイちゃん、なんか入ってるよ。あれ？はあ。
God, she opened it! The thing inside was a little embarrassing, so I wish she hadn't opened it here. Panicking, I hid it with my hands.
な、これはだな。うちのお袋がお礼に入れとけって言ったんだ。別に俺のセンスじゃないんだからな。誤解すんなよ。
綺麗。飴だ。
Oh. It was a handful of candies neatly wrapped in paper inside the sparkly clean bento box. When I was cleaning the box out yesterday in the sink, Mom came over and interrogated me, and I fessed up as to who had given me the food. Then she told me that something like this called for a display of gratitude. I didn't want it to, because it was really embarrassing, so I argued that it wouldn't be like me to do that.
というわけなんだ。まあ、
I was so embarrassed it felt like fire might shoot out of my face. Mion, laughing the whole thing off, like she usually did, would be fine, but for some reason, she was staring at the candy in the box with fascination.
ありがとう。
俺に言うな。入れたお袋に言ってくれ。それに、ミオンが俺を言う必要なんかないんだぞ。それはシオンにあげるものなんだからな。
うん。そうだよね。うん。シオンに伝えておくね。きっとシオンも嬉しがると思うよ。
Mion, looking a little downtrodden, put the lid back on the box. Seemed like I ended up saying something a little mean at the end. Also, unnecessary to be
今日はなん
honest.
だかみーちゃん、ほんわかな感じだね。いいことでもあったのかな風邪でもひいたんではありませんの？お顔が赤いのはきっと微熱のせいでしたよ。リカ、なんで私の頭を撫でますの？さとこもきっとそのうちお風邪をひけるようになりますですよ。
Pet, pet. You gotta wonder when the fuck shit's gonna happen. You know what I mean, chat? That's what I'm waiting for at this point. It's like, alright, when is everything just gonna go terribly wrong? Oh, goodness. Alright, let's continue on. Continue forth! I might have explained this before, but Phys Ed at our school is really just an exercise in disorder. After some random warm-ups, the rest of the time is spent doing whatever. You're free to cause a ruckus or just fall asleep. Never. This is a pure and innocent VN. Yeah.
よくは知らないけど、教育委員会とかに教育指導要項とかあるだろ？何歳ならこれくらいの運動能力はなければいけないみたいなさ。
圭一さんが何を言ってるのか難しくてさっぱりですわよ。先生の授業の進め方のルールみたいなものなの。
はっはっはっは。都会の軟弱な連中にはそういうのは必要だろうけどさ。田舎育ちのうちらが身体能力で劣ると思う？
僕たちは圭一が思ってるよりも運動神経はいいのです。
Come to think of it, they might be right. If we all lined up for a race, there was a good chance I'd finish dead last if I didn't start off well. Let's just pray that when a brutal penalty game is at stake, the 100-meter dash isn't a club activity.
ではそういうことで、俺はテレビの見過ぎで、実に素敵に眠い。睡眠時間の補給をさせてもらうぜ。空腹絶頂の4次元目。今寝ずにいつ寝るよ。
As I began to sprawl out on the top of a pipe, Mion grabbed me by the collar.
ちっ。まさかおとなしく眠らせてもらえると思ってる？
Probably not.
その顔で言われたら、おとなしく寝る方が勇気がいりそうだ。
Good grief. Which means, is it gonna start again?
さて、このまま井戸端会議でチャイムを待つなんて、熱き血潮のたぎった私たちには無理だよね。部活タイム、行ってみよっか。
案の定来やがったな。今日のゲームは何だ？
Now that this is happening, a nap is impossible. Not just that, with this sleep-deprived head of mine, I'm as good as mincemeat. I have to get my brain into gear.
レナはそれより、今日の罰ゲームは何かなの方が先だと思うな。
Uh-huh.
レナは分かってるね。今日もとびっきりのを用意してるよ。
She began to announce the cruel penalty game with a grand spinning flourish. But before she could do that...
ごめんなさいです。僕はちょっとやりたいことがありますです。
Oof! Pause. Of all people, it was Rika-chan announcing her non-participation. Mion looks like she has an elf ear right now. She does! I can tell that's like a branch from the tree, right? But that really does look like she has an elf ear. Even rare events do actually eventually occur. Oh no, that was a cabin. Never mind. Losing her timing, Mion spun like a top as she tumbled to the ground.
あれれれれれれれれれ。何？どうしたの？今日は調子悪いの？
あ、そうか。みーちゃん、綿流しの練習だよ。そうですわよ。今度の日曜日ですもの。リカは猛特訓中なのですわよ。最近は頑張りすぎてお腕が痛いのです。
そっか。じゃあ仕方ないな。全員揃わないなら仕方ない。今日は各人のんびりしようかね。
ごめんなさいなのです。でも頑張りますですよ。頑張ってね。レナたちも応援してるからね。
Yeah! When Mion announced that today's club activity was cancelled, Rika-chan and Satoko headed off behind the school building. Only I was left alone, completely clueless as to what everybody was talking about.
一体何なんだ？
Right, this is an alternative timeline, so Keiichi has no idea what the Watanagashi is.
リカちゃんは何か大会前とかで特訓をしてるのか？
リカちゃんは綿流しの巫女さんだから、奉納の演舞をすることになっててね。その練習なの。
Why don't you explain things in order? First of all, what is this Watanagashi? Next, what do you mean by Shrine Maiden? Last, what do you mean by Ritual Dance?
あれ？ケイちゃん家には回覧板とか行ってない？書いてなかった？今度の日曜に綿流しのお祭りがあるって。
Huh? Come to think of it, I have a feeling Mom did say something about it during dinner the other day. God dang it. Watanagashi is a festival that happens at the shrine on a Sunday every June. It's very lively. I see. But Watanagashi sounds like a pretty strange name for it. Is it something like the Lantern Festival? Where they have a memorial for the dead by floating things down the river?
お、さすがはケイちゃん。察しがいいね。綿流しはね、名前の通り綿を流すんだよ。
The cotton, you see, is from futons or jackets. So it'd be something like a futon memorial?
祭壇にもお布団を積み上げているし。
It's so strange. Why did her voice only just now come back? And Keiichi's voice is still going. I've heard of people leaving offerings of things like needles or kitchen knives to their ancestors or to casualties of war. But an offering of futons is a first for me. What's the history behind that? Mion tilted her head pensively.
言われなんてほど難しいのはないと思うな。この辺って冬の寒さはかなり厳しいからね。布団とか斑点とかの防寒具を特に大切にしたからじゃないかな。
あ
あ、なるほどな。つまり、冬の間お世話になった布団に感謝しようってわけだ。
You're giving thanks to the futons by wasting the futons. Don't know about that logic, but we'll go with it.
で、巫女さんが供養をして、最後に川に流すわけか。それが綿流しってわけだろ。
Mion and Reina indicated that I had the correct answer with a round of applause.
でねでね。その供養をする巫女さんの役がリカちゃんなの。
へえ、リカちゃんが巫女なんだ。言われてみればリカちゃんってどことなく神秘的な雰囲気あるよな。
だよね、だよね。リカちゃんの巫女さん姿ってね、はうーかわいいんだよ。
Certainly does seem like it would suit her. Yeah, it might be cute.
ようやく話が見えてきたぞ。リカちゃんの言う特訓ってのはこの巫女さん役の練習なわけだな。
そういうこと。巫女さんが布団をお祓いする一連のセレモニーを奉納演舞って呼ぶんだけどね。それの練習なんだよ。結構大変なんだな、これが。
巫女さんはね、祭事用の大きなクワを持って演舞をするんだけど、それがね、リカちゃんにはすっごく重いらしいの。
リカちゃんってちっちゃいもんな。その重いクワってどのくらい重いんだ？
かなり重いらしいよ。リカちゃんは餅つき用のキネで練習してるくらいだから。
Wait a minute. That's way too heavy. Forget about Rika-chan, that'd be rough even for me.
祭事用の神聖なクワだからね。間違って落としちゃったら大変らしいし。
まあ、年に一度のお勤めだからね。私たちは陰ながら応援するしかないね。大丈夫。去年もちゃんとやり遂げたんだから。
そっか。じゃあさ、せめて応援してやろうぜ。それくらいならいいだろう。
I was rather curious about how exactly she practiced. Mion laughed as she shook her head.
ほっといてあげなよ。ケイちゃんが来たら、リカちゃんは可愛くなっちゃうから、特訓ができなくなるよ。
Huh? I didn't quite understand what Mion was saying.
リカちゃんはね、努力とかそういうのを人に見せるのが好きじゃないの。ね。そっとしておいてあげて。
Even the always cool and aloof Rika-chan has times when she sweats while giving it her all. Because she was always so well put together, she didn't want people to see an ungaily side of her. It's not like I couldn't understand that feeling.
俺にできるのは成功を祈ることだけってことか。頑張れフルでリカ
Yeah!
応援してるから。
Well then, I climbed up onto the pipe and plopped down on my side.
フレーリカちゃん さらに応援の電波を高めるため、これより瞑想状態に入る。
Come on, dude. Fucking clown.
結局寝るわけか。
The lackadaisical noon time ended up giving way to mine, numbing afternoon classes. Rebounding from yesterday's hunger, I ate too much for lunch today, leaving me in a horrible condition.
さすがに食いすぎた。午後の授業は答える。
ケイチくん、今日はなんだかすごい食欲だったもんね。
基本的にいつも大食いだけどさ。今日はなんか格別だったね。
昨日は俺、昼飯抜きだったろ？そのひもじさが染みついちゃってさ。今度は逆に、いくら食っても食欲が底なしっていうか。
わかるよわかるよ。しかしケイちゃんってさ、いつもお弁当きれいに食べるよね。ご飯一粒も残さないっていうか。
食べ物ってのは、作ってくれた人に感謝して食べるもんだぜ。残したら苦労して作ってくれた人に失礼だろ。
Aww. Hearing that, Mion's eyes momentarily widened in surprise, followed by a cool laugh.
ケイちゃんってさ、ぱっと見ワイルドでいい加減そうなんだけど、結構律儀だよね。
Aww.
しつけがいいというか。
あ、うん。それはレナも思うな。ケイチくんって見かけよりずっと優しい人だよ。
I like how they're kind of just implying that he looks mean. Well, actually, they're not even implying it, they're just straight up saying it to his face. Good lord. Oh. Oh, sorry, I missed some chat. I can't read. I feel like if I looked at this game right now, I wouldn't know it's so cursed. I know, right? That's what I'm saying, sugar. Like, sometimes you can't even tell. Both of them were probably trying to compliment me, but I had a strange feeling I wasn't being complimented at all.
そんなことないって。見かけと中身は大違いって、そう言いたいんだよ。
それが褒めてねって言ってんだよ。
こら！園崎さん、前原くん、授業中ですよ。
Oof!
園崎さんはどこまで進みましたか？ノートを持ってきてください。
Startled, Mion vocalized a rather easy-to-understand utterance. She was so enthralled in the conversation, she had stopped working completely.
まあそこそこに。
さっきから全然進んでないじゃないですか。最上級生なんだから、もっとしっかりしないといけませんよ。
That Mion, it looks like she's getting lectured. Poor bastard.
人は見かけによらないっていうことだね。
I wonder why this game is saying appearances can be deceiving. I wonder what that could mean.
むしろ、見かけとは逆が誠かもしれないよ。
Yep.
面白いこと言うじゃねえか。
Responding to Reina's seemingly profound statement, I turned my gaze to where Satoko was happily studying together with Rika-chan.
あの生意気盛りのサトコも、実は見かけとは逆に、すげえ塩らしいってのかよ。
If I went by what Reina literally said, then that would be the case. I could hardly imagine Satoko being a meek and gentle like a girl in some fairy tale.
最近はあんな感じだけど、ちょっと前までは違ったんだよ。すごい甘えん坊で、いつも。さとこちゃんには内緒ね。
あのサトコが、甘えん坊？
For Satoko to play coy, I think that would have to be a part of some calculated plot. Even if she was trying to hide behind someone, I wouldn't think it was because she was attached to them. Yeah. But since it came up, I tried to imagine a gentle and coquettish Satoko. Oh no. Oh no.
おい、サトコ。
なんですの、お兄様。
That's weird. That's weird. Satoko smiled cutely and walked towards me. By the way, for every 3 steps Satoko took, for some reason I took 3 steps away.
お兄様、なんで逃げますの？
すまん、サトコ。お前が愛想笑いして近づいてくると、何かの罠のような気がするんだよ。
ひどいですわ。お兄様の意地悪。
Brick. Do the brick, let's see.
ごめん。別に悪気があったわけじゃないんだ。
Soldier. The weeping Satoko came closer to me. I'm a sucker for tears. Click. Clank! Huh? A bear trap? My leg was being clamped down on by a jagged metal teeth. Oof!
かかりましたわね。続けていきますわよ。
The next boy. Oh my man set up a Home Alone trap. Satoko raised her right arm triumphantly, and traps began to trigger one after another. Oh my god. Suddenly, the wall sprang forward, throwing me 3 blocks away. Jesus Christ. And there I saw a giant metal bat covered in spikes hurtling towards me. I feel like this is unnecessary. On top of that, in the direction the ball would knock me was a giant ghillie teeth. He's just dead at that point.
よくわかんないけど、ケイチくん、今すっごく突拍子もない想像してなかった？
Nah, Keiichi, he's completely in touch with reality. What you mean? you know, good old Keiichi.
いや、別に。全然してないぞ。
Uh-huh. Right.
嘘だ。
Yeah. Usoda. It's the less creepy yet somehow still a little intense Usoda.
トゲ付き鉄球に潰されるって顔してたよ。
How could my expression convey what I was thinking like that?
すまん。
Sorry.
塩らしい聡子の想像ってのはかなり無理がある。今度体調がいい時に再トライしてみるよ。
Next, I look over at Rika-chan, who is working diligently on some kanji drills. In contrast to Satoko, her default state was meek and gentle. If Rika-chan came at me saying, "Oni-sama," I'd hug her. I'd hug her tightly. Oh, come on now, bro. I could get used to that.
ケイチくんよだれ。
That's sus. That's sus. Keiichi, that is so unbelievably sus.
あ、ごめん。じゃあ、リカちゃんはどうだよ。あれも見かけによらないってのかよ。
Saying that out loud, I felt a tinge of doubt. Was Rika-chan really all sweet? Despite her appearance, she really was quite sly. Sweetly. How do you put it? Evading things deftly?
確かにリカちゃんはただ可愛いだけじゃない気がするな。確かに見かけによらないぞ。
I couldn't exactly put what I was imagining into words, but Reina managed to say what I wanted to. She turned to me with an impish look in her eyes, like she was saying, you shouldn't say something like that.
リカちゃんはきっと大きくなったらね、すっごい美人になって、男の人を振り回す小悪魔のような女性になるんじゃないかなって思うんだ。
Is that a good thing?
そういうのかっこよくない？
I mean, to an extent, sure. Reina said that lightheartedly, but I, as a man, couldn't laugh at that. The scary part about that was, it felt like it could be true. Noticing my gaze, Rika-chan turned towards me and let loose with an angelic smile. Both Reina and I, feeling as if that was directed towards us personally, had our hearts skip a beat. Jesus.
はあ、かいいね、かいいね。
レナ、話。
Appearances can be deceiving, huh? Well then, what about our dear leader Mion? I stared at her as she tried to weasel her way out of her scolding by the teacher. By Reina's theory, that unrefined, calculating, conniving Mion also had a side of her that bellied appearances. Oh, is this talk about Shion?
じゃあなんだよ。あのミオンも見かけによらず、実はいいやつだって言いたいのかよ。
Is actually a good person. That's really fucked up because you were suggesting that defaultly she's not a good person.
みーちゃんはいい人だよ。
あ、まあ、そりゃそうだけどさ。そういう意味じゃなくて、
ケイチくんの言いたい意味。わかるよ。
Catching on that I was struggling to express my feelings as words, Reina smiled even more brightly.
わかるって何がだよ。
みーちゃんって不思議でしょ？女の子なんだけど、男の子みたいっていうか。
That's right. Mion was more than aware that she was a girl, but it was exactly as Reina said. When Mion livened up the mood, it wasn't as though she felt like a guy or a girl specifically, but a friend of the same gender.
あいつが男だったら、 きっと意気投合するだろうな。で、そりゃ今と同じか。ははは。
でもね、そんなみーちゃんも本当はすっごく女の子らしいんだよ。
Yeah, we figured that out already.
レナ、お前、ミオンにいくらもらったんだよ。
How much did Wow, wow, I can't. Shion pay you. I mean, Mion pay. Oh my god. I am getting fumbled and stumbled all over the place. I can't let her in. What does that even mean, Golden?
違うの。もう、ちゃんとした話をしてるんだよ。
Reina began to pout. Now, probably wasn't the time to joke around.
みーちゃんは部活の部長さんだからみんなのリーダーとして頑張ってるけど、本当はとっても可愛い女の子なんだよ。それ特に圭一くんには忘れてほしくないな。
Yeah. Reina's gaze focused off into the distance, beyond where Mion was. The Mion that I met at Angel Mort was unimaginably different compared to the Mion that I normally knew. Flustered and hesitant from the unfamiliar job. It was a far cry from the brash and confident Mion. Let Reina in the house, she's sorry. How much did Eon pay you? I mean, I think it's fine to let this Reina in the house, since it's an alternate timeline. I think she's fine. I'm not gonna let the other one in my house. Even though she had to hurry to work, she went through all the trouble to bring me food when I was on the brink of starvation. And she didn't so, not as Mion, but as Shion. What exactly was Shion to Mion? What kind of person was Mion exactly?
多分圭一くんには想像つかないと思うな。
As if to say it was our little secret, Reina held her finger up to her lips as she giggled. Neon, finally free from the teacher's preaching, returned to her seat, cradling her head to hide her embarrassment.
おじさんはね、人生に必要な勉強は小学校までで十分だと思ってんだよ。
Saying that, she plopped down into her seat violently. Mion was actually really feminine. Right. I wonder if I can meet Shion again. I wanted to talk to her again. Clang! Clang! The principal waved around the bell that served as the school chime. The teacher rushed back to the blackboard and began to list everybody's homework assignments.
今日は宿題が結構出そうだね。頑張らないと。
じゃあさ、レナもってことか？
何がかな？
Uh-oh. No, don't bring back the evil Reina! Not again! Not again!
人は見かけによらないって話。レナもってことになるのか？
Nope, doesn't apply. Let's move on.
圭一くんにはレナのことどう見えるかな？
Like a psychopath. The Reina Ryugu I knew sometimes took things too far, but was generally a kind and gentle, ideal girl.
本当に？ しいかな。
If she was the opposite of what she seemed, that would make her...
逆なのだとしたら？
Duh. But the other one just wants to give you food. Right, Golden, Alright. Then why don't you eat it? Just try saying it. I won't be mad. That's what I felt she meant.
レナは、
うん。レナは？
逆になっても、レナだよ。だろ？
This question shouldn't have been so nerve-wracking to answer. Maybe it was because the person in question was staring at me, but even saying that took a strange amount of effort.
ずるいな、ケイチ君。そんな言い方されちゃったら気になっちゃうよ。はお。
Perhaps unable to endure my silence, Reina's face began to burn red with embarrassment.
レナケイちゃん帰ろ帰ろ
Mion walked over and started getting ready to head home. Whenever school is over, she really does get noticeably more energetic. It was the same relaxing walk home as always. Digging around my pocket on a whim, I noticed something that should have been there was missing.
どうしたのケイちゃん。
いつも持ってるはずのうちの鍵がないんだよ。
My man's been hoodwinked.
参ったな。どこにやっちゃったかな。親はいるから今日はいいけど、まずいよな。
それは困るね。忘れてきたの？それとも落としちゃったのかな？
Which one was it? Did I take it with me this morning in the first place? Huh? Huh?
ケイちゃん、その鍵の特徴は？
うん、キーホルダーがついてる。昔、夏休みの宿題で作らされたやつで、青いオットセイなんだよ。
The blue fur seal! My man!
あれ？目をつぶった感じでお昼寝してるみたいなやつ？
You know, for some reason, chat, this may seem a little mean, but for some reason, I can't see Keiichi making something that creative. I really can't.
お、なんで知ってるんだよ。そうそう、それだよ。
Mion looked away and began to whistle. Did you steal our key?
さ、おとといケイちゃん、エンジェルモートに食事に行ったでしょ。その晩さ、お店で鍵の落とし物があったんだよ。それにオットセイのキーホルダーがついてた。
As she said that, she suddenly grew flustered and added that Shion had told her.
あの時に落としちゃったのか。
でも見つかってよかったね。お店がきっと預かってくれてるよ。
そうだね。行ってみなよ。シオンの顔、私と同じだからわかるでしょ。
This was a rather unexpected development. Once again, I had no choice but to go and meet with Shion. But I also had to thank her for the bento from yesterday. Besides, taking some time and chatting with this other side of Mion might be interesting. Half-jokingly, I began to think about things like this.
そうだな。エンジェルモートだっけ？シオンの店に行って鍵を返してもらって、ついでにお茶でも飲んで優雅に過ごすってのも悪くないな。
なんだか英国紳士みたいだね。ケイちゃんには似合わないかも。
ひょっとしてそのお店かな？みーちゃんの妹の働いてるお店は。
ああ、なんならレナも一緒に行くか？
ちょっと残念だけど、今日はお父さんと約束があるから。またの機会にするね。
Reina seemed pretty disappointed about having to miss out on such a great opportunity.
双子だそうだけど、そんなにそっくりなのかな？間違えるくらい？
ああ、そっくりだ。外見だけはそっくりだ。中身はミオンと違って、おしとやかで実に可愛らしいのにな。
In response to my teasing, Mion pouted and began to argue with me. I couldn't help but burst out laughing at Mion's little farce. After all, they weren't just identical, they were the same person. After going home, I changed my clothes and dug my bike out of the garage. Just thinking that I'd be able to meet Shion gave me a mysterious feeling. Shion, a name for a different kind of Mion. She is a mysterious and ridiculous person, believing she had fooled everyone like that. I noticed that I was pedaling along quite happily. Could it be that I was looking forward to meeting Shion? I felt a sense of giddy anticipation, like I was headed towards a new friend's house for the first time. What Reina said about Mion actually being really feminine sprang to mind once again. The guilt from spying on another side of Mion, the self-consciousness from being the only one that knew about that side, these feelings mixed together. That was Shion for you. Mion's little twin sister. Until she felt like coming out and admitting she was Mion, it was fine to just call her Shion, right? Mion might be trying to have some fun by acting out a different persona. As I reached the top of the steep hill, the horizon expanded before me. I was almost at the station. The last time I wasn't embarrassed since I was here with Dad. But this time I was alone, so I was strangely self-conscious about it. Meet Shion, get my key back. That was all this task was supposed to be. If I dawdled around like this, maybe Shion would find me before she headed in for work. Hey, what are you doing, Keiichi Maibara? Just here to get your key back, you know. It's not like you're some love-struck schoolboy here to hand over a love letter. Or is he? The thoughts inside my head were slowly turning into a jumbled mess. I came to the realization that I was downright giddy. That's why, just for a bit, just a tiny little bit, I got a little carried away and did something really stupid. Uh-oh. What did you do, buddy? I kicked over a parked motorcycle that was blocking the side. Dude. Dude. Are you dead ass? It was in the way, sure, but there was absolutely no need for me to kick it. I definitely think I got too carried away. Bunk, clack, crash! As the three bikes toppled one after another like dominoes, the loud noise they caused snapped me back to my senses.
やば。
盗んだの野郎!
Oof! The owners of those three bikes were right there. It looked exactly what you'd call thugs up to no good. They lifted their heads in an imposing manner and yelled angrily in a way I've never heard before. The three of them beelined towards me, the worn-down heels of their thin-soled shoes slapping noisily against the pavement. I could only stare listlessly as if I were watching some far-off event that didn't concern me at all. By the time I realized it, I had been grabbed by the collar and lifted onto my tiptoes. Oof. The three thugs were completely ignoring the rules of grammar, but the way they spoke was enough to make me tremble. Just like that, my composure drained away, and my legs buckled, and my throat grew dry enough to crack.
すみません。つい。
ついじゃねえだろ、え？蹴ったやねえかよ、ボケ!
Oof. Oh no, hey Ivory! How you doing? Sorry if I saw your message late. I was completely at fault, so there was nothing I could say in my defense. As a result, I was pulled even higher.
なちくしょう! 塗装剥げたじゃねえかよ!
Well, my man's dead.
おれ! セガンしたナイスるつもりじゃ! 悪いのはてめえなんだぞ、こんなら!
Three of them continued to yell at me. I had no idea what each of them were saying. Getting further enraged, I was only listening while dumbstruck. I grabbed an empty plastic crate from a nearby store and began to smash it repeatedly against a telephone pole. Cracks formed in the crate, plastic shards flying everywhere. Oh no. Then, they slammed it full force into the shuttered storefront. Smash! The shutter let out a frighteningly loud noise. How are you enjoying Higurashi so far? It's interesting. Chapter 1 ended in absolute disaster and left me scarred for life. It was going wholesome so far in here, but now we're getting into a bit of a scuffle, and it looks like my mans is in some danger. So, I'm thinking maybe this is the point where it turns to fuck shit. This was not normal. It was something you saw often on television or in manga, but I never thought seeing it in person would be this terrifying. I became painfully aware that the safety of civilized society was only held up by such a frail concept as morals. My knees clattered together noisily. Static began to appear to pepper my vision. This is what you would call an absolute terror. There was nothing I could do to stop this frightening spectacle of violence. I could only pray for help. The fear I felt was just too much. Could somebody help me? My gaze floundered about the surrounding area. I was surrounded by these three hoodlums. No way there would be a passerby brave enough to intervene. Maybe this is what you would call reaping what you sow. If I were a passerby, there would be no doubt that I'd ignore what was going on. So, this was somewhat of a cosmic retribution. Fucking say something. Sounds about right. Yep. Angry yelling, loud enough to rattle my eardrums, spewed forth right in front of my face. My waning consciousness was forcefully dragged back to the storefront. The thug had cocked back his free hand and twisted his body when suddenly a metallic taste filtered through the back of my throat. A chill ran down my spine like a jolt of electricity. Seeing what was going to happen next, I squeezed my eyes shut as tightly as possible and gripped my teeth.
やかましいよクソボケどもが。
Oh shoot!
私の目の黒いうちにうせな。
Ho ho! That voice was a short distance away. Still holding me by the collar, the three thugs spun around to look behind them. Oh! Yo! She on to the rescue, bro! She ain't having it! Standing there was Shion. I mean, Mion. Man, who knows at this point. She stood there, displaying an imposing stature that I'd never seen before. She didn't have the same look on her face as she did when we were playing around during club. Those were the eyes that would instill fear in anyone who looked upon them, the eyes of a raptor. They were the epitome of terror. At the same time, they were the most reassuring things in the world.
もう一度だけ言うよ。ケイちゃん話してとっととうせな。
Mion, without an ounce of fear, laid down her ultimatum. Of course, there was no way those three wouldn't go absolutely berserk. The situation instantly turned explosively dangerous. Uh-oh. Stop it, Mion. These guys are like rabid dogs. No amount of bluffing will work.
ミオン、危ないから早く。
I knew what I was saying was pathetic, but I couldn't let Mion get involved in this. No matter how you looked at it, Mion was only bluffing. But did Mion even know the meaning of the word bluff? However, the reason behind everything soon became apparent. They were slowly increasing in number, little by little. At first, it was only businessmen on their way home stopping to take a look. Then it was housewives in the middle of a shopping taking a gander. Next, what seemed like the owner of the store showed up, and it was pretty clear he wasn't just looking. Around Mion, there was already about 7 people gathered. It felt different than people coming out to support a friend. If I had to say why, it was because the group that gathered was diverse in age and gender. The 3 thugs seemed to slowly realize that something was strange about the situation. We love a green-haired beauty, yeah!
なんだこいつら。
Shion over Mion. Behind them, at some point, 4 more people of differing clothes and ages had gathered. A girl who looked to be in middle school, a man wearing a bakery apron, an old lady in a house cleaning smock. More and more, people of various ages. Their gazes, comparable to Mion's, were of hostility. Of intimidation. Before I realized it, over 10 people had formed a ring around us. Bro, they finna jump this man, Jesus. At the moment, 5 elementary schoolers ran in and joined the circle. What is happening? Is the whole town just coming to, like, beat these people up? There were some familiar faces. Some of our classmates. Then these people were residents of Hinamizawa? More and more people from Hinamizawa gathered around. In obvious contrast, the residents of Okinomiya were passing by as quickly as possible. Bro. Jump him! My phone is lagging, so gotta go. Oh, alright, Ivory. We'll see you later. You have a good day. Thank you for stopping by. The group surrounding us had suddenly swelled to around 20 people. Jesus. Completely encircled, the faces of the thugs began to show the first signs of panic. Nobody spoke a word, Mion included. It made everything completely unnatural, and depending on which side you were on, completely terrifying. Only the thugs' voices echoed out like they were screaming. Somebody took a step forward, closing the gap between them. As they did, everybody else took a step forward, shrinking the circle. Oh my god. Something like right out of a friggin' war movie. The hoodlums went pale as they were pushed together, back to back, while still yelling angrily. They were trying to string together vulgarities, but for some reason it sounded like they were crying out for help.
Hi. どうしたのかな?
It was sudden. A solidly built officer cut his way through the crowd. At some point, 2 police cars had arrived. Some passerby had undoubtedly called for them. Several burly officers appeared from inside the second vehicle.
あ、おまわりさん、いいところに来ました。恐喝の現行犯です。捕まえてください。
んだこれ！気が悪いったら！
Mion, returning to her usual self, was nonchalantly pointing out the hoodlums to the police. Of course, the thugs were furious. But now it had come to this, there was nothing they could do. It was their loss.
わかったから。ちょっとおいで。いいから。
The officers handcuffed the thugs and dragged them towards the patrol cars. Sorry.
んだよ。話せよ。俺らが被害者なんだよ。聞いてんのか、チキショー。
Sure, buddy. No matter how much of a ruckus they caused, the officers paid no heed. In the blink of an eye, they were crammed inside 2 vehicles. They could still be heard yelling while inside the police cars, but what they were saying was no longer intelligible.
大丈夫ですか?
Oh, hey! My man! He's back! My man Oishi! Yeah!
お怪我ありませんか?
He was probably a detective. The man leading the police peered at my face.
いえ、別に。
それは不幸中の幸いでした。では、良いお年を。
Portly man, after taking a quick look around, addressed the crowd.
市民の皆さんの迅速な通報に感謝します。住民の皆さんの連帯のおかげで、今日も町の平穏が保たれています。
素晴らしいことです。
お仕事ご苦労様です、大石刑事殿。住民を代表して日頃の公務に感謝いたします。一家の刑事がわざわざこんなところまでおいでくださるとは光栄の極みです。
The way Shion talked didn't have a very pleasant note.
偶然ですよ。県警の帰り道に無線連絡が入りましてね。寄り道したわけです。
お仕事頑張ってください。今後のご活躍を切に祈っております。
We do know from the last game that Mion was not the biggest fan of Oishi, because Mion's tied up in the atrocities that occur in Hinamizawa, somewhat at least. So, yeah, we already know that there's been some tension between them from the get-go.
いえいえ。でも怪我人が出なくて本当に良かったです。
大石さん、オーケーっす。行きましょ
う。ではでは、良いお年を。失礼。道を開けてもらえますかな。
The detective named Oishi, after jovially making pleasantries, lumbered over to the waiting police car. It quickly set off, disappearing down the city street. It was over so quickly. So quickly, I was dumbstruck. I didn't even get to ask the officer what was going on. It was like they came here quickly to disperse the mob before any trouble could start. After making sure the police cars had left, Mion snapped her fingers sharply.
おっしゃ、一丁上がりだね。おととい来やがれっての。
That was the signal. The tension melted away in an instant as everybody began smiling. A middle-aged man helped me up.
大丈夫かい、前原の坊や。今度からは喧嘩は相手を選んでやりな。
He's got a point. He do be having a point though.
別に喧嘩ってわけじゃ。
怪我とかしてない？頭とかぶつけてるならレントゲンを取っておいた方がいいわよ。
An older lady I didn't know the name of was concerned about my injury.
たまたま駅前で人通りの多い時間だったからこれだけ集まれたけど。次からは気をつけるんだよ。最近の町もんは物騒なんだから。はあ、まったく。
I was even warned by the old lady in the smock. As Shion finished applauding the dispersing group for their efforts, he strode over to me.
いやいや、ケイちゃんもやるじゃない。でも私も相手を選んだ方がいいと思いますけどね。
I mean, that's just generally good advice. Don't pick a fight with everyone you see.
サンキューな、ミオン。助かったよ。
だから私、シオン。
She made a troubled expression as she turned her gaze downward, blushing in embarrassment.
お姉に聞いてますよ。オットセイの鍵、あれケイちゃんのですって？
あ、うん、そうだった。これからお店に行こうとしてたんだった。
それで浮かれてて、あんな変なのに絡まれちゃってたんですか？
Now it was my turn for my face to go red. I didn't want to admit that she was spot on.
まあ、ついてなかったよ。でも、シオンのおかげで助かった。
お礼はいらないですよ。だから、ケイちゃんも他の人がいじめられてるのを見つけたら、きっと助けてあげてください。私たち、そういうのをとても大切にするから。
I was well versed in that sense of camaraderie. But the way I was rescued just now, something seemed a little off about that. Yeah, you'd think. While I was helped out, it was honestly to an almost disturbing degree.
お店来ますよね。疲れちゃっただろうから一服しません？おごりますよ。
Seems that she caught the glimmer of suspicion in my eyes. Without waiting for my answer, Shion began walking. After cooling off a bit inside the restaurant, little by little, I realized I was still on edge. There were spots here and there on my body that hurt, probably because I had been so stiff with nervousness. Shion, who had changed into her uniform, brought over 2 glasses of iced coffee.
はいこれ、おごりのアイスコーヒー。レジでこのチケット渡せば無料になりますからね。
My patheticness really knew no bounds. But since she went through the trouble, I might as well take her up on the offer. Even though it had started out as such a lovely day, I had to get carried away and do that stupid thing. It completely ruined it.
でも本当にさっきのは助かったよ。シオンが本当に頼もしく見えた。
私だって怖かったですよ。でも他ならぬケイちゃんのピンチだし、勇気出して頑張りましたってことです。
While a little embarrassed by what she just said, Shion made a show of folding her arms boldly.
シオン、本当にありがとうな。
I was thanking Shion. But I really wanted to thank Mion. Mion, really, thank you.
ほらほら、もう元気出してくださいよ。もしも恩義を感じるなら、今度はケイちゃんが他の誰かのために戦ってくださいね。例えば、私がピンチになったら、きっと助けに来てくださいよ。
ああ、もちろんだ。約束する。
絶対ですからね。
Taking advantage of my words, she seemed happy about my promise.
ピンチになったら、ケイちゃんが助けに来てくれるのか。
Sometimes foreshadowing is relatively obvious.
早くピンチにならないかな。あ、やっと笑ってくれた。
She said as she smiled herself, poking me in the cheek.
元気のないケイちゃんなんて、偽物もいいとこです。ほら、笑って笑って。
Aww.
くすぐったいってば。やめ。
Thanks to Shion's meddling, I finally cheered up a little. All the muscles in my body that had stiffened because of the incident finally began to relax a little.
元気出たらお腹とか空いてこないです？私、お腹空いちゃいましたからホットケーキとか食べたいんですけど。ケイちゃんも食べます？
I wanted to show a little restraint, but restraint really wasn't my thing. That's why I replied without any.
うまいんだろうな。俺、ホットケーキはかなりうるさいぜ。
安心してください。うちのホットケーキはかなり評判いいですから。
Shion ordered some pancakes from a nearby waitress. An employee ordering from another employee seems kinda weird.
おいおい、そういえばシオン、今バイト中じゃないのか？俺とずっと話をして油を売ってていいのかよ。
おじさんにね、私が不良に絡まれてるところをケイちゃんが助けてくれたって言ったら、ねぎらってあげろって。だから店長公認で OK です。
それ事実と正反対だぞ。いいのかな？
全然いいのです。
By the time the pancakes arrived, we had entered into a relaxed conversation. As the two of us ate pancakes, we livened the mood with some chit-chat. About what was on TV, celebrities, that kind of thing. Hobbies, food. Really, nothing more than idle chit-chat. Talking together like this, I once again became conscious of Shion being a girl. Hey now, that's funny talk, Keiichi Maibara. Shion and Mion are the same person. If there was anything different between them, it was only whether or not Mion admitted she was Mion. But given that, how come our conversation was this different?
ケイちゃんってお姉のことを女だと思ってないでしょ
う。そんなことはないよ。男だったら容赦なくどつき倒してる。
ケイちゃんとお姉が仲がいいのってそういうノンセクシャルな関係にあると思うんです。それってなかなかできない羨ましい関係ですよ。
言ってる意味がよくわかんないが、まあ確かに女にしとくにはもったいないやつだよな。
あ、ケイちゃん、それ男女差別ですよ。
I mean, you're not even wrong. That really was just inherently sexist. Hearing the word sexist was cause for introspection. What was I prejudiced against Mion and Shion for? Mion was Mion. She was the best friend a guy could have. No reservations and head and shoulders above me when it came to club activities. If I had met her 5 years earlier, my life would have probably been a lot more fun. Of this, I had no doubt. Then what about Shion? She was Mion's little sister and hadn't even been 3 days since we met. Her relationship was much more distant as the only thread we had in common was that I knew her sister. And for Shion, it was the same. I was somebody she met 3 days ago only because I had a friend of her sister's. The difference between Mion and Shion? Friendliness? Familiarity? Playing around with those unclear thoughts for a while, I had stopped listening to Shion.
例えばですよ。聞いてます？
ああ、ごめん。聞いてるよ。
例えばですよ。私とお姉が共にピンチで、
Oh no.
崖にぶら下がってるとします。ケイちゃんはどっちを助けます？どっちか一人だけですよ。
She wasn't saying it to tease me, but had a playful tone behind her voice.
嫌な問題だな。どっちも助けたいけど、 それじゃダメなんだろ？
ダメです。シオンかミオンのどっちかだけです。どっちですか？
If it were Mion, I don't think she'd be in that situation in the first place, as it's something she could easily get out of herself. But what about the normal frail Shion? I guess I'd have no choice.
お姉じゃないですよね。
If Mion and Shion were different people, I suppose it would come to that. I couldn't confirm nor deny it. She shouldn't have been smiling, but her gaze was locked firmly to mine.
つまり、そういうことなんですよ。お姉はそのつまり、あれすみません。なんか自分で言ってて破綻しちゃいました。
Shion was trying to talk in a light-hearted manner, but it felt like there was something more behind her words. Was Mion trying to tell me something through Shion? Not being able to put a finger on exactly what it was vexing. Shion, to hide her embarrassment, turned the conversation around.
それよりも、さっきのあれ、驚きましたか？
そりゃ驚いたよ。レナやサトコが駆けつけてくれるならともかく、あんなに老若男女がいろいろと集まってくるんだからな。あれ全部ひなみ沢の人なんだろ？
ええ、そうです。ひなみ沢の人はみんな結束してるんですよ。一人の敵は全員の敵。
Yep, we already know that.
日和見なんか誰もしません。結構頼もしい住民性なんですよ。
誰かがいじめられたらみんなで結束してやっつけるわけか。なんだかマフィアとかヤクザみたいな結束だな。
そんなこと言っちゃダメですよ。とてもありがたいことなんですから。ケイちゃんもそれに助けられたんですよ。感謝の気持ちを忘れないように。
Or else. I half-heartedly agreed. I knew full well I should be appreciative.
ひなみ沢の人たちって本当に仲が良くて結束してるんだな。
昔からの伝統かな。ひなみ沢って昔からいろいろと廃村の危機に遭うんですよね。その度に結束して戦って存続を勝ち取ってきたっていう歴史があるんですよ。例えば、ケイちゃん、ひなみ沢ダム計画って知ってます？
Uh-oh. Hinamizawa Dam Project? Let's see. I feel like I've heard somebody talk about it before.
10年くらい前にね、突然ここにダムができて、ひなみ沢が丸ごと水没するって話になったんですよ。
あ、そんな話、親父かなんかに聞いたことがあるような。でもそれって確か中止になったんだろ？
中止にさせたんですよ。みんなで団結して。だからこれは戦って勝ち取った勝利なんです。
It sounded pretty much like the story I had heard. The protests intensified to the point where it was featured in newspapers and magazines. As a result, the plan was suspended.
ダムの話そのものは私が生まれる前からあったらしいんです。最初は候補地調査とか砂防のための小さいダムとかそんな程度の話だったんですよ。
But then the cat was let out of the bag. If it were completed, it would have been the biggest dam in Japan, Not just Hinamizawa, but several villages upstream would have been submerged as well. The protest immediately began. Petitions to cancel or relocate the project were drafted and submitted to the Diet. They even went so far as to go to the Ministry of Construction in Tokyo to hand over a direct appeal to the minister. The previous landowners sued the government, stating that there were inconsistencies in the purchase agreement and the transaction should be nullified. Owners of the yet unacquired land split their properties, increasing the number of landowners in order to stifle the project.
土地の買収なんていうお金の問題のうちは可愛かったんです。そのうち土地の強制収用をちらつかせるようになりましてね。その頃からです。機動隊とかの暴力行為が目立ち始めたのは。
機動隊って警察だろ？
Yes, that's what she just said.
暴力行為なんてするのかよ。
殴りますよ。
Oof.
蹴りますよ。私も殴られたことありますし。
Oof.
この辺だったかな。皮が切れちゃったみたいで血がすごい出ました。
Saying that, Shion indicated her temple by poking at it.
警察とかには？
Filing a complaint against the riot police for police brutality would seem kind of strange for some reason. Naturally, they wouldn't pay heed to something like that. You wouldn't be able to establish proof of who exactly hit you, and they could justify their actions by saying you were interfering with the police duties.
うちのバッチャ、烈火のごとく怒り狂いましてね。それからがすごかった。もう全面戦争ですよ。こっちも座り込みで訴えるなんて生っちょろいことなんかしません。ガンガン攻めました。
First, in order to call attention to the government, they filed a temporary injunction in court. Then, in order to gain public support, they called in prominent scientists to state that Hinamizawa was a valuable nature preserve. They pressured the prefectural and municipal assemblies, saying that the prefectural governor ignored his constituents when he approved the project and demanded his resignation. They completely and thoroughly denounced him. Naturally, in Hinamizawa, a ferocious conflict worthy of being called the Dam War began. In order to suppress the police's brutality, they coordinated with the network channels and exposed the violence of the riot squad members to police. On top of that, they put together a special expose themed around the government repressing the citizens, and aired it nationally. It worked wonders. Following that, the SWAT teams had their hands cuffed. Day after day, the petitions and demonstrations continued. Propaganda was used to help garner support. The circle of support gradually expanded outwards from Hinamizawa. Either that bore fruit, or the government finally decided against it. It was announced that the dam project was indefinitely suspended just a few years ago.
私たちにできることなら何でもしました。村全部が一丸になって戦ったんです。あの時は必死だったけど、終わった今となってはいい思い出かな。村人たちの連帯感や団結心は今でも消えていないんです。
Shion said that as she focused off into the distance. I felt that those eyes weren't filled with anguish, but rather a sense of pride.
そういう連帯感っていいよな。
Yeah. Until they killed and dismembered somebody. It was pretty nice up until that.
なかなかないことだよ。世代を超えて地域で団結できるなんて。
私もそう思います。ダム計画は試練だったけど、それを乗り越えて得たものは とても大きいと思いますよ。
Fear I was feeling until just now gradually began to fade. When people began to show up one after another while I was engaged with those thugs, I thought it was frightening. But now, I felt from the bottom of my heart that I had been rude. The villagers prepared to defend their homeland to the death. The sense of solidarity that fostered. It might seem impudent to say this, but I was a little jealous. If I had been in Hinamizawa when the protest against the dam was going on, I might have been able to share in that sense of solidarity.
ケイちゃんは反対運動の時、ひなみ沢にいなかったから、村人たちの連帯感を実感できないかもしれないけど、みんなにはあるの。しっかりと。それはたとえ引っ越してきたばかりのケイちゃんに対してもね。
She couldn't have been more right. So many people got together to help me out when I just moved here. Even though they were strangers whose names I didn't even know. A hot feeling began welling up inside me. When I lived in the city, I didn't even know my own neighbors. And I thought that was natural. But here, that was an absurd and pathetic thing. Even though I thought of them as strangers, all the other villagers viewed me as a comrade. Happiness and warmth. I was acutely aware of those feelings as they gradually welled up inside me.
園崎さん、店長がホール入ってほしいそうです。
A more senior waitress waved her hand and called out to Shion. It seemed like it was time for work.
あ、はい、今入ります。すみません。もう仕事しないとまずいみたいです。
いいよいいよ。付き合ってくれてありがとな。楽しかったよ。
あ、帰っちゃいます？
まあな。飯の時間には戻らないとお袋がうるさいし。
It seemed that Shion wanted to say something, but she swallowed her words. Like we hadn't talked enough, that kind of feeling. Looking at that expression, I regretted saying something that had disappointed me on like that. I was able to say that I could stay for a little bit longer. I was about to say that I could stay for a little bit longer when Shion got up from her seat.
はい、これ。このチケットで払えば、ホットケーキ代も大丈夫ですから。
Saying that, she showed me a coupon booklet as she tore out a few sheets and handed them to me.
便利でしょ？お給料の他にもらえるボーナスチケットなんですよ。
いいよ。ホットケーキ代くらい払えるよ。
おやおや？遠慮するなんてケイちゃんらしくないですよ。
え？
私がお姉だったら喜んでおごられるくせに。
She said as she laughed, gently stopping me from opening my wallet. Being told so with such an encouraging smile really resounded with me.
園崎さん、すみません。レジ入ってください。
あ、はい、今す
ぐ。Later. Today was fun. Saying that, Shion smiled one more time at me.
あ、ミオン。今日は本当にありがとうな。この恩は忘れないよ。
そう思うなら、きっと返してください。楽しみにしてますから。
After I said it, I realized I mistakenly called her Mion. I didn't know if she realized it or not. There's the cry of the Higurashi again. Lazing around and watching television after dinner was part of my daily routine. It might seem like a waste at first glance, but you could say it was an important time when I was able to acquire knowledge of everything from politics to economics to various trivia. After dinner was valuable time well spent while the brain was at its most supplied with nutrients.
バカバカ、東京タワーの方が高いに決まってるだろ。
Huh?
あ
Today I tested my knowledge of trivia by watching my weekly quiz show. Oh my god. Sitting in front of the television, I was able to get a lot of the answers right. But if I were actually up on stage, I'd probably fail miserably. Oh. Orara?
ケイチ園崎さんから電話よ。
Oh.
あ、あよ。園崎？ミオンか。
It was a little late for her to be calling. I had a bad feeling about this. I had a hunch it was something to do with club activities. She's probably going to inform me about what we were doing tomorrow. This was Mion we were talking about. She might even go so far as to say we're doing club activities right now, so hurry up and come over. By the way, it was 8 p.m. That's not that late.
もしもし。今から部活の野戦ってのは却下だぞ。
じゃなくて、その。
It was Mion, but it was a very un-Mion-like way of talking. Huh? Could it be?
ごめん。ひょっとしてミオンじゃなくてシオンか？
そうです。どうもこんばんは。夜分遅くにすみません。
For Mion, this would have been an ill-fittingly polite way of talking. But since it was Shion, it was natural. Even though they were both the same person. With a dry smile, I enjoyed that mysterious feeling.
いや、別にいいよ。それより何の用だい？
ケイちゃんはケーキとかデザートとか甘いものは好きですか？
There's no way I hated them. I'm an unabashed glutton.
ならよかったです。実はですね、夏の新デザートコンテストってのがありまして。
Looks like they have a new dessert menu every season. So they were hiring taste testers for potential desserts.
エンジェルモートのデザートはかなり評判いいんですよ。モニターの募集もかなり倍率高いんです。それで担当直入な話、じゃーん。
じゃーんと言われても見えないからわからないけど、ひょっとして。
そうです。そのモニターチケットがここにあるってわけです。もしも甘いものが嫌いじゃないならいかがですか？
Oh yeah.
いかがですかって、つまりなんだよ。そのチケットで俺が新デザートを食い放題と、そういうわけなのか？
Yeah. They say to beware of honey pots, but this is sweeter than any pot of honey. All you can eat free dessert? No way.
OK ならモニター当選者の末番に名前を書いておきますね。明日お店に来たら係の者に名前を言ってください。それで万事 OK ですから。
What's it be like this scene where they're feeding fudge to the Grinch in that Grinch movie with Jim Carrey, where they're just shoving fudge down his mouth and he's like, Zylugart! Zylugart! Then they did the pudding and they're like just shoving pudding in his mouth, and the one guy was like, this is not pudding. And he's like, what is it? Oh god, I love that movie.
万事 OK って、それで食べ放題なのか？無料なのか？
ええ、無料です。結構ありますから、お腹を空かせてくることをお勧めします。
This was such a delectable opportunity, it was almost scary. This was really Shion, right? It wasn't Mion posing as Shion in order to bait me into a trap, was it? What am I saying? They're the same person.
はいはい。ケイちゃんの考えてることは分かってますよ。こんな美味しい話があるわけないって思ってるんでしょ？
ギク。いや、 そんなことは全然。
That
お姉から聞いてますけど、つくづく嘘のつけない人なんですね。私、そういうの嫌いじゃないです。
Sean laughed with a voice that sounded a lot like how Mion would laugh.
下心ってわけじゃないんですけど、実は私、明日はちょっとバイトしたらすぐに終わりなんです。もしもご迷惑じゃなかったら、その後ちょっとご一緒してもらってもいいかなって思いまして。
へえ、明日のバイトはすぐ終わっちゃうんだ。
はい。だから、ケイちゃんがデザート食べながらのんびりしてるうちに終わっちゃうんです。
まあ、俺も特に用事はないし。多少付き合うくらいなら構わないよ。
別にどこかに行くわけでもないです。夕涼みしながらお散歩でもできたらなって思ってるだけですから。
There's no reason for me to refuse. Out of courtesy, I might as well take her up on the offer.
そういえば、ケイちゃんと私ってなんだか毎日会ってますよね。
言われてみればそうだな。
でも OK してもらえたおかげで、また明日も会える口実を作ることができました。
Huh? What was Mion saying?
ケイちゃん、なんだか声が裏返ってます。どうしたんでしょうね。
Aww. It wasn't a video phone, but she could tell it was beet red.
じゃあ明日、きっと来てくださいね。それじゃあこれで失礼します。おやすみなさい。
おやすみ。
Chillin finished with what she had called to say, ended the conversation without any chit-chat. When I returned to the living room after hanging up the phone, the TV was already off and my mom was sleeping in the rocking chair. Not feeling like turning the TV back on, I went back upstairs and returned to my room.
俺、シオンに世話になってばかりだよな。
She brought me a bento and saved me when I got involved with those thugs. She was supposed to be a different person, so I could thank Mion at school. Come to think of it, she'd probably just say she'll pass it on to her sister. I have to thank Shion directly. Tomorrow I'll have to repay her somehow. Alright. Looks like tomorrow we're going to do some taste testing for the dessert. Dessert. Yeah. I've done a lot of yes today. Details of the Delinquent 3. Let's peep this. Peep this! No, really, peep this one. Because she was trying to fucking fight Katie, bro.
すっとらってんじゃねえ。話さんけこれ。
クマちゃん、腕を離してあげていいですよ。ささ、どうぞおかげになって。
Three people rubbed their arms painfully. Kumagai, Gun, and the others must have been squeezing them pretty tightly.
お兄さんたち誤解しないでくださいよ。別に逮捕したわけじゃないんだから。
Huh?
クマちゃん、冷蔵庫から冷たいの出してあげてください。お兄さんたちは泡の出る麦茶と出ない麦茶どっちがいいです？ん？
They plunked down onto the reception sofa, and despite not yelling anymore, they still had the dangerous expressions. What I'd give to be young again.
飲まないなら私、勝手に飲んじゃいますよ。失礼して、ピシッと。 勤務中に飲むビールが一番美味しいですね。
As he downed the beer with glee, the three people exchanged glances, then finally reached out for their cans. They hadn't stopped being cautious, it was more like they didn't see a reason to refuse. They each opened their cans and began to drink the contents.
お兄さんたちはどっから来たんです？ここいらの人じゃないでしょう。
They looked at each other again, suspicious of whether they should tell him.
お兄さんたち大学生？お友達同士？バイクか何かで旅行中だったんでしょうかね。羨ましいなあ。家は近くってわけじゃないんでしょ？どっから来たの？大阪ですかな？
んなのどこでもいいだろ。
まあまあ、そう凄まないで。あのままいたら、お兄さん方だってやばかったでしょ？
They seemed to recall the thrilling event from earlier. While they could understand getting surrounded by students or a gang, or something along those lines, they had never been surrounded by locals both young and old, both men and women before. It was easy to imagine how scared they must have been.
ここいらの人間なら、どんな間違いがあっても、ひなみ沢の人間には手出ししないですよ。あそこの連中は特殊なんです。子供の喧嘩に親は出てくるな、なんてもんじゃない。一人をいじめたら、それこそ村中が総出でやってきますよ。いや、ほんと、脅しでも何でもなく。
They couldn't argue against that. They themselves had been surrounded. They'd seen it with their own eyes. There was no doubt about it.
ここいらじゃねえ。ひなみ沢の人間に睨まれたら、あっさり鬼隠しにあって消えちまうんです。もう、跡形もなく忽然と。お兄さん方、行方不明になったら誰か捜索願いを出してくれるご家族はいます？いないならまずいな。蒸発扱いですよ。
Even then, we got there soon enough that nothing happened. If we'd been late, things could have taken a turn for the worse. If they'd been forced into an alleyway, these young men wouldn't be sitting here on a couch right now. They might be lying on an autopsy table. Well, probably not. Anyway, perhaps they'd be a little more cooperative if we found them as corpses.
お兄さん方、沖宮へは何で来たの？電車？バイク？
バイク。
そりゃまずいな。さっきのとこにまだ止めっぱなしなんでしょ？あんたらのこのことバイクを取りに戻ったら、今度こそ袋叩きに遭いますよ。
なんだよそれ！上等じゃねえか！
Calm down, calm down. Why are young people these days so quick with the shouting?
あんたらももう面倒ごとはごめんでしょう。バイクのナンバー教えてください。ここまで持ってきてあげますから。くまちゃん、交通課対策にゲート車を借りてきてください。
別にいいよ。自分たちで取りに行くからいいって。
あんたら本気で囲まれたいんですか。今度は警察間に合わないかもしれませんよ。
大丈夫だっつったんだろ。 囲み上等だ。
おい、
Uh-oh.
お兄さん方。
Uh-oh.
あんたら今、泡の出る麦茶飲んだろう。エンジンかけてみろ。その場で飲酒取るぞ、こら。
Uh-oh.
汚ねえ。
警察が税金使って兄さん方のバイクを運びして死んぜよって言ってんだよ。ごちゃごちゃ言わねえで、ナンバー言えってんだ、このクソバカ野郎。
The three were hesitant to tell him the numbers. They were mumbling something along the lines of not remembering them since they just brought the bikes. Well, that's what I thought.
クマちゃん、ゲート車に同行してバイク持ってきてあげて。ごつい赤いやつとテールランプの右側が割れたやつ。あとシートにガムテ貼ってあった白いやつ。それだろ。兄さんたちのバイク。
They didn't answer. Those must be the right ones.
おいさん、ゲート車来ましたんで行ってきます。
はいはい、よろしくお願いします。あと、クマちゃん、ちょっと。
なんすか？
ナンバー紹介しといてください。間違ったバイクを持ってきちゃうと悪いから。
The three people's faces changed color. They made themselves very easy to understand.
バイク戻ってくるまでのんびりしてましょうよ。ビールもっとありますよ。乾き物だってありますし。テレビ見ます？ろくなのやってませんけどね。
いいよ、俺たちもう行くから。こんなとこにいつまでもいたくねえよ。
Suddenly, there are 5 or 6 huge officers surrounding them. Their clearly overpowering stares nailed them to the sofa.
なんだよ。俺たちが何かしたかよ。
Going on a trip by stealing motorcycles, huh? Students these days have too much time on their hands. All right. I think. I do think. I say. That would be a good place to end it for today. So, let's go ahead and close this out. And let's just find someone to raid real quick, huh? Oh. Ara? Arara? Hmm. 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 Who do we raid? Let's just raid Kisaka again. Works for me. Alright. So this is the raid message. This is the greatest bear raid of all time. And then let's just go. Let's just raid Kisaka. I spelled that right? Oh, tell me I spelled that right. Yeah, gaming. We're gamers. We're gamers. Epically gaming, bro. Yeah. All right. We spelled that right. We're going to go ahead and raid. Let me copy that. Okay, can't copy it. Well, whatever. We're going to go ahead and raid in 3, 2, 1. Bye-bye. 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 Bye-bye.
These